signals for the Baltimore Colts. Unitas gives to Amici. The Colts are the world champions. Amici scores.
It's amazing, sensational, dramatic, heart-rending, exciting, thrilling finish in the history of college football. California has won the big game.
5 seconds left in the game. Do you believe in miracles? Yes!
This is Phil Steele.
This is Mike Burnett.
This is Wes Durham.
This is Mike Ashley.
Hi, this is Chuck Foreman, number 44 of the Minnesota Vikings.
Woo, mercy, this is handsome Jimmy Vane, the Boogie Woogie Man.
This is Coach Fry with Virginia Tech Football, and you are listening to Big Dog Sports Talk.
Are you ready to rock? Are you ready to roll? Okay, let's do it.
You're in the doghouse with Rick Watson on Big Dog Sports Talk, presented by Pulaski County Sports and Entertainment. Join us in the Family Fencing Studios and chime in on the McClellan Chiropractic chat line. He's keeping cool with help from Little River Heating and Air, but this show is straight fire. And now, the big dog, Rick Watson.
Rick Watson's got the mic, he's the big dog king. Cover sports so sharp, it's a new river thing. Virginia Tech fire, rapid pride too. Every stat, every play, he's bringing it to you. He's got that voice, deep as a valley, breaking it down, no dilly, no dally. Big dog sports talk, feel the bark. He's got the scoop, faster than a sprint. Calling plays like a coach, every word's a hint. From the courts to the fields, the stories unfold. Rick's play-by-play, worth its weight in gold. With a laugh and a growl, he'll pull you in. Big Dog's podcast, let the games begin. Big Dog Sports Talk, feel the bark.
How are you? Good morning. What's up, Prometheus? How are you? Bringer of fire. Coming up, we got a lot going on. Man, oh man. Free valued entertainment for you. We've got David Smith, our NFL correspondent. Lots of stuff we're going to get into there. You got some disappointing news. Yeah, happened overnight about a guy that I really liked, and now I got to question what's going on. But we'll talk about that in a second. Rick's in the zone every night from the Hokies. That's right, Low Country. Glad you liked the song. Andy Bitter from Tech Sideline. Jonathan Sweet, whose nephew, by the way, got signed by the Jets. We're going to talk about that, along with some cool stuff from Pulaski County Sports Entertainment. And then Dwight Vick. Man, it's a lot. Back-to-back days. Are you kidding me? But how's everybody doing? We're here from the Family Fencing Studios, live in Reiner. 540-200-8294. Reach out for a free quote. And appreciate everybody who has supported the program, all the wonderful sponsors. Got a new one coming aboard in September. Probably need a few more, but thanks to everybody who's hanging on with us. It means a lot, and wouldn't be able to do it without you, literally. All right, let's get into this because this really bugs me. And apparently it's legitimate. He's hoping it wasn't real, but a couple years ago, NFL draft, I was all about Jaden Daniels. He was my guy over Caleb Williams. He went second to Washington. He's been hurt a lot. And then last night, apparently, Jaden Daniels has told LSU it can no longer use his name, image, and likeness because he's mad that his number didn't get retired, his number 5, and they retired Joe Burrow's number, who won a national championship. The statement was, the Daniels family is deeply disappointed and feels profoundly disrespected that LSU gave Daniels' number to another player this season. And he feels he's being treated differently than Joe Burrow. So, maybe I have to rethink the thoughts that I had regarding Joe Burrow. That's disappointing. Jaden Daniels. That's disappointing to hear. And it kind of tells you, too, I don't know how NFL players look at it, but that position at quarterback, you've got to be a leader. You've got to have everybody's best interest in mind. You've got to have your team in mind. And for that statement, it just looks like a really me type of response. That's disappointing. It's disappointing. I once thought he was going to be the next super thing as a quarterback. Maybe that's not going to be the case. But I guess if you're a Washington fan, does that concern you? It's all over X. I didn't know players could do that. I didn't know they could just send a cease and desist to the universities first and foremost. I didn't realize that was something. I'd be like here at Radford, what happened if Javonte Green decided to say, hey, we to take down all of his images and everything that we used to celebrate his wonderful career as a Highlander. Can't ever imagine that happening because Woo's not like that. But I had no idea that was a thing. No idea that was a thing. So Daniels is saying, no more. And it's caused a fervor. Of course, LSU Nation very upset. And, maybe it doesn't affect him at all in Washington, but that has to be something that is a bit of a red flag to come out, especially when he singled out Burrow the way he did. Now, Burrow won a national championship. Jaden Daniels bounced around at least 3 different schools that I know of. USC, Arizona State, and LSU. It's not like he was committed to one place. It's not like he was an LSU legacy. So this goes into lack of self-awareness, massive ego, and all the things you don't want as your starting quarterback, to be perfectly honest with you. Agreed, Prometheus. It only hurts his legacy at LSU. Yeah, you're going to have a whole fan base turn on you pretty quickly now. I guess I shouldn't be surprised, the narcissism that goes into a lot of the fame and everything. But he didn't win anything at LSU. He won the Heisman. He won an individual award, but he didn't win anything for the team like Burrow did. Teams are supposed to be celebrated. Who led that team, that very special team with those wonderful array of receivers and talent, NFL talent, is what gets remembered, not necessarily an individual award. So now, I mean, I got to be honest, it changes my perception of him. And he doesn't care. He's a rich guy. He's going to say whatever he wants to do and do whatever he wants to do. But now I have some things now. We'll have to wait and see. I think this becomes a much bigger season for him personally than it would have been. He knows he's going to have a lot of people rooting against him now in a certain section of the country that supported him unabashedly. But yeah, that's a pretty large ego statement right there now. You're issuing a cease and desist. You got your lawyer to issue a cease and desist to the school that you finished up, that you went to and won a Heisman and became the second overall draft pick. Disappointed. Jaden, I barely knew you. I barely knew you. You got NFL preseason tonight. Hey, you know what? We got games everywhere. Hopefully, locally, there'll be some on. Lions and Bengals, Packers and Steelers, Colts, Patriots, Chargers, Texans. Yes, that's right. Cardinals and Raiders, Titans and 49ers. We get to see the debut of Mr. Mendoza out in Vegas. And I know starters aren't going to play across the board. I know that. Some will, very few will, as we go into this thing. But we get to see logos and helmets lined up across from one another, making contact. So, yay. We get to see uniforms. And we get to watch football this weekend. We will not be without football now going forward until mid-January. In some capacity, we're going to have weekend football now. Pros and colleges and all that. So that is good news for everybody. For everybody. It's one of those things where you laid down yesterday evening. You ever have those evenings where you just lay down? I mean, it was still daylight. We weren't into dusk yet. And then I woke up this morning at 3. What's going on? I guess that's when your body tells you that you need it. So, David, I got your text this morning. We're going to talk about the Hall of Fame weekend. We're going to get into the Murray over McCarthy quarterback development. Deshaun Watson going to start the Browns game. That'll be a nice side story. And we'll get into more predictions. And it'll be exciting with the best NFL analyst around, David Smith. We will not be popping tonight here on the channel because I will have a ESPN broadcast, my first of the fall, even though I know it's still summer. We have women's soccer opening up their season tonight, and I will be at Cup Stadium. We might maybe look to make up pop this weekend. I don't know yet. We'll see. If I'm feeling it and I just want to jump in and do it, then I'll just start doing it and I'll let everybody. But we will not have it this evening. Thursdays have been very good. And people have really liked it, and I appreciate it. And I hate that we can't do it But we will not be popping tonight here on the channel. That other gig of mine kicks in full throttle tonight. If you're in the area, go see Mark Hundley, 155 Walters Drive. The McClellan Chiropractic chat room is always up and about, and Mark wants to make you walk more up and about. If you're having back issues, go see Mark today. Jonathan Sweet's going to join us, Professional Door and Pulaski County Sports Entertainment, our presenting sponsor. Thanks to everything that they do. Little River Heating and Air, 1095 Radford Street in Christiansburg, 540-553-2971. Look for the blue and black truck. The BDST fan question of the week brought to you by the attorney Ryan Price, 701 West Main Street in Radford, Trust and Estate Planning. And guess what? It's gotten really interesting. We've got a 3-team race for the worst team coming up in the ACC here in 2026. That's the question. Who do you think is going to be at the back end of the ACC race? And currently there are 3 teams, Stanford, BC, and North Carolina, that are leading the way. I won't give you the order because I don't want to influence your vote. National Bank member FDIC, the exclusive banking partner of yours truly for 35 years and this program. Appreciate everything that Lara Ramsey does, and that's a wonderful place. Professional Door Incorporated, residential commercial garage doors, thanks to Travis Williams. Family owned and operated, 674-0008, sponsor of our text line. Bob Christ and the Ready Set Fund, ReadySetFund.com. Bob Christ 11 at Gmail for more information on how to raise money for your team, church group, local group, whatever. The best wiring, electrical service for your home, business, whatever it might be, residential, commercial, Sundown Electric down in Elliston, the Smith Brothers, superior craftsmanship, 5-star reviews all the way around, and we thank them for their support. The NRV Super Bowl, 540-382-5525. Leagues are forming now, men's, women's, mixed, and also for kids. And Lawson's Mobile Home Supply, 300 North Franklin Street in Christiansburg. Give James a call, 540-381-8011. Manufactured parts for your home, thanks to Brandon at Top Shelf Apparel. And the Chamber, hang on. Steve sent me a release about their golf tournament. So the Montgomery County Chamber of Commerce on September the 21st is going to have their golf tournament at the Blacksburg Country Club. 2 flights, morning and afternoon. Teams of 4 starting at $500. Sponsorship starting at $100. For more information, montgomerycc.org/golf classic. So help out the chamber and go support and play some golf and have some fun. And we'll talk more about that as we go along. What is up, Rylan and Chloe? Hello, please subscribe. So on the Professional Door text line, here I am getting Washington fans very upset. They don't like that either. I know. I understand. If he were my quarterback, if it were Bo Nix saying something like that about Oregon, it would be kind of a sideways head turn. Now, he hasn't done anything not by the board so far than, it's been hurt a lot. But this is kind of a crack in the armor a little bit. And I'm sure the folks in Washington, they won't say it publicly. They're going to stand by him. But, ownership and the management team have to be like, that a whole lot. Probably not big on that. And if it doesn't affect his play, it doesn't really matter. Everything will be forgotten about. If he comes out the first month of the season, they're 4-0, and they're great. Nobody's going to care. Nobody is going to care. Yeah, you can, Prue Lang. Just don't make it something that's not by the board, or you'll be banished forever. Usually when you get the, can I ask a quick question, then you get some stupid post that accomplishes nothing. So I'm going to hold you to a higher standard than that, Prue, and hopefully that won't be the case, but you can ask away, and then if it's something that I think it's going to be, you will be going, oh, what's my favorite food or snack? Favorite food is ribeye steak. Snack. I'm not a big snack guy. I don't have to think about snack. Favorite food, ribeye steak. What about yours? What's yours? I'm not a big snacker. Like, I don't find myself craving something in the evening, snack-wise. Sometimes I'll get a big spoon and dip it into peanut butter and eat that, and that gives me like a little something. Please subscribe, Prue. Sushi, okay. I've never gotten into sushi. I never will. But I'm a big fish fan. I love seafood, but I'm not a sushi guy. So that's great. I love the way it looks. I think it's great. Watch people eat it. I think it's beautiful the way they make it. But I'm not going to ever sit down for a hankering of sushi. You should try Nutella instead of. Yeah, I know. You're right about that. I do like Nutella. Nutella's good. Maybe I should do that. Buy some Nutella. Maybe I should do that. I know they make those little Nutella, little crisp things. I've seen those in the box. Thanks, Pruline. And you made me smile thinking about ribeye steak. Oh, okay, hang on, Daniel. Daniel wants to see Selma. There you go. That's our 1 year celebration logo there. And it was Wayne from Ohio, who actually said, Rick, how did you make a logo that doesn't have Selma right in the middle? So there she is. There you go. Football, baseball, basketball, hockey puck. See, we got the 4 main food groups there. Low Country says red snapper is the best fish one can eat. Red snapper is delicious. Yes. Here at the house, when I'm not, I think red snapper, Low Country, let me know, because you obviously fix it, make it yourself, I guess. Is that a pretty elaborate thing that you have to prepare, make sure it's, I like cod. I like cod a lot. Flounder. I mean, it's all good. I like it all. Red snapper, I have had that. It is really good. Okay, Pruline, thank you so much. Stop by anytime. Maybe we can figure out our snack. What we like snack-wise. Hey, I like a basic Pringle chip. I don't like all the flavors. You don't need all these. They got like 12 flavors now. Just give me the red can and let me go in and grab like a little handful of Pringles and I'm good to go. I don't want sour cream and onion Pringles. I don't want barbecue Pringles. I don't want, sea salt. Just give me a scoop. Just give me Pringles. There you go. See? Like he gets it. The original's the best. Just don't mess with it. I'm the same way with the Lay's potato chips. I just like the basic yellow bag. I know. But there's a reason that before they start making all these flavors, the basic flavors of things have lasted for as long as they have, right? There's a reason. I don't want some pizza flavored Lay's chip. Oh, well, hello to your mom, Drew. Give her our best if you're fortunate enough that she's still with you. Yeah, I don't want sushi flavored Lay's chips. What's going on, Morris? Oh, so sorry, Morris. He says, so sorry, my friends. My aunt, Mary Graham, which lives in McCoy down in Blacksburg near the New River Falls, passed away. A grand lady, mother, wife, sister to my mom, and devoted Christian. Be back soon. Morris, thoughts and prayers with you. If you need anything, just don't hesitate to reach out. So sorry to hear that. We are all family here, and when one of our family members is hurting, we all hurt. Hey, hello from France, Onyx. Good to see you. Please subscribe. How are you? You know, we have 15 nations that have subscribed to BDST, and France is not one of them. You could be the 16th international representative. Smoked Chinook or sockeye salmon. I do like me some salmon now. All right, Prue, take care. What's up, Thunder? What's going on? Thunder, you got to remind me the question you want me to ask. I think it was you, right? You wanted me to ask Bitter a question? Let me know. So now Washington fans are pretty upset to learn what Jaden Daniels said last night. What he did. He didn't say it. He did it. He issued a cease and desist. Wow. And by the way, I didn't send this. I got to send this. That's terrific. You folks are extremely talented. I will tell you that now. Those of you that can make all these cool things. We're going to figure it out. We are in the state of Virginia, the Commonwealth. We are nestled in a good spot. We got all sorts of stuff around us. North Carolina, West Virginia, Maryland, D.C. I mean, we're in a good spot here. We're kind of like the hub here in Southwest Virginia. Virginia Tech's nearby, of course, Radford University, James Madison. We're in a good spot here. At least I like to think that we are in a really good spot here. David Smith's going to join us. We're going to talk some NFL. And I'm going to see about all right, Morris, no worries, brother. I hope everything goes well, man. And again, very, very sorry. Very sorry to hear that you're having to deal with that in your family. I hope things improve for you much sooner than later. And we've gotten good response, by the way, for our bash, not our bash, but our tailgate for the Friday game, Pitt and Virginia Tech. It is, Onyx. That's what's so cool about this format. Absolutely. What's up, Village Idiot? Football is almost here. And right now, when you say football is almost here, well, I may think about that big D and the horse, on the helmet. And then the second thing I think about when I think football is this guy, David Smith. What's up, brother? Good morning.
Good morning to you. You clearly don't have a wide range of people to think about if you come down to me. But I will take it because if I'm synonymous with football, then I've done my job in messing up your life.
I see the shield and I think all the great things growing up, loving the NFL, and I think David Smith. There you go.
Well, there's that cut grass cologne you're trying to market. You and Burnham.
Don't you think?
Was that
Burnham?
Was that Mike? I think it was Mike Ashley was talking.
Mike Ashley, yeah.
And then I think you found that someone had already thought like you and was already trying to do it. So what do you do, right? What do you do?
Absolutely. And then we could go out there just every Sunday. We could spray it on while we're watching our teams play.
If you're just riding in the car and you need a pick-me-up, just have some with you and just hit it and then off you go. Yeah. Or, Rick, we could do what most people are going to do tomorrow. That is head out to a high school scrimmage because if my calendar is right, it's 2 weeks away from games. So that usually means that there's jamborees in the air probably somewhere tomorrow Yep. And the good old VHSL has gone in every so often. They go in and make tweaks. I don't know if you saw the article that their realignment time has occurred throughout the state. And
it is.
And folks are making decisions on whether they want to stay there or not. I read about our buddies at Grayson County who are like, to change from one classification to the other could mean hours of driving for them.
Yeah.
And so it's thankfully they have an appeal process. They can get that fixed. But yeah, so football's in the air. All the good stuff's about to happen, and I'm here for all of it.
We are here for all of it, and it's good. It's really, really good. All right, we got a lot to cover. Hall of Fame weekend. I wrote about it last week in the Patriot. It's always very special. Hopefully, before I pass away on this fine planet, you and I will have a weekend where you can go to the Hall of Fame. I just already have an envision. We're going to have a Dolphin. We're going to have a Bronco. And we're going to go up there a couple of days ahead of time, and we're going to have press passes, and we're going to do our thing and just revel and take it all in. It's always very special to see the speeches. It's still holy. We still have hallowed ground, the NFL or the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
Well, I heard you the other day talk about how the offseason is just filled with things that none of us are interested in, whether it's NIL, transfer portal, all the things that we think have robbed us of the innocence of the sport we grew up loving. But there are several components that I lean more into that you cannot upend. That is the actual sport itself. Yep. You can't mess it up. 11 on 11. It's going to be football. It's going to be football. And referees try to screw it up.
They try to screw it up.
Way too many challenges and this, that, and the other, although football has continued to narrow it down. But the sport is the sport is the sport. And I subscribe to that because we gravitate to it. If it wasn't, we wouldn't be talking about it like we do now. We all wait for that small inventory, as I call it, of greatness. But the Hall of Fame is another one, Rick. You told me it is everything and more for a football lifer like yourself, and like I like to think I am. And so, what a really good class, Rick. You're talking about Drew Brees, second on the all-time yards passing list.
I know.
And he has 80,000 yards. Now, as a Dolphin, the Dan Marino 61,000 yard mark stays in my mind forever because it was incredible. The 5,084 yards in 1984, they threw for 48 TDs. And no one will ever catch that. No one will ever. And it took a while, but I think Manning's 5,400 yard season, I think with Denver that 1 year surpassed the single season one. But shout out to Drew Brees, undersized, should have been a Dolphin. Don't forget, should have been a Dolphin. And that doctor somewhere, maybe he quit being a doctor. And Nick Saban made sure that he had his license revoked because that changed. You and I have talked about this before in the old program. Think about the trajectory of all those teams had that doctor said he's good.
I know.
Because Saban, for all of he didn't do great in the NFL, they were, I think, 8-8. I believe it was. It wasn't like he was 3-13.
No, it wasn't like
Spurrier.
Steve Spurrier.
There you go. There we go. It wasn't like Spurrier who jumped in there and said, "This isn't for me." Saban was actually 8-8, and interestingly enough, Jason Taylor still raves about the energy that not only he had, but the Jimmy Johnson had around the program at that time. But so shout out to Drew Brees who lands in New Orleans, and it worked out perfectly. He saw the Katrina disaster as an opportunity, not as something to run away from. And they embraced that. They really became one with the city. And you saw the video of Sean Payton, how he responded to getting the information that he was going to be the presenter. That's football. Again, for those that's football. Those relationships. And Sean Payton's not an easy guy to work for, Rick.
No.
And so Drew Brees and him were just kindred spirits in that. You get the sense that Bo Nix could be that same kind of thing, could be the kind of person that could gravitate to that. So shout out Drew Brees, Larry Fitzgerald, second on an all-time yards list, 17 years, one football team. And so we applaud him. Grew up as a ball boy for the Vikings, learned from Moss and Chris Carter. How about that story? I mean, that's just amazing.
That's not bad.
That's pretty good company. If you can learn to play from those guys. Luke Kuechly, second youngest person ever inducted at 35 years old. I didn't realize that till I read it. Only Gale Sayers went in at a younger age than Luke Kuechly. That's a lot of football players to be able to say that you're the second youngest ever to go in, because as you've been to the Hall of Fame, Rick, typically a lot of people that are at the Hall of Fame or go in are older and they've passed their prime in a lot of ways. And so and that segues perfectly into Roger Craig, who's 66 years old now. And he's no less a Hall of Famer today than he was 25 years ago. In a lot of ways, you wonder what happens with some of these. And sometimes, you can't understand it. But if you ever watch Roger Craig play like you and I watched him play, there wasn't just a product of a team that opened up holes for him. Roger Craig made his way a lot of times. And unfortunately, he's going through this vascular dementia now that he acknowledged. And so, he points to the fact that football played a role, but he doesn't feel pity for it. He talked about the fact that the sport provided him a credible opportunity. And so I just think we want to be armed with more information to have informed decisions moving forward. And so he says that I'm not sure that anybody stopped playing that was playing this week, but they at least know now that that's a risk. And so for those who choose to play the sport, it's certainly one that could leave you with some problems. But Roger Craig, the first one of three with 1,000 yards receiving and 1,000 yards catching in the season. And Adam Vinatieri, I don't need to say anymore. He's one. Is there been a better, more clutch kicker in the history of the sport than Adam Vinatieri? No. Those two kicks in the snow in the game against the Raiders, those kicks in the snow were crazy, Rick. They were crazy. Then he goes to the Super Bowl and he knocks in a couple winners. Well done, Hall of Fame group, by getting him in, getting those guys in. And then, Rick, next year's class, that people who are eligible. You've got Gronk, who's an absolute lock, right, Rick? Rob Gronkowski.
Yeah, I would say so.
Listen, the tight ends that are in the Hall of Fame and that aren't in are saying he's the best tight end that's ever done it. So he's a lock. There's Cam Newton's up for eligibility. I think Adrian Peterson's up for eligibility.
He should be in.
I think AP should be in. And I think this is where you may get some folks who have been on the ballot that haven't gotten in that'll come through. But those two stand out. And so shout out to Hall of Fame for a great weekend. And I think they only have 5 in this year. I think, Rick, there's been some times when there's been more than that. But shout out to the Hall of Fame. Canton, Ohio gets it done every single time. Every time.
Got to get Mike Shanahan in there for me.
Yes, sir.
I'm not happy at all about that.
Yes,
but,
sir. Yeah.
The fact Jimmy Johnson's in there, not Mike Shanahan, don't get me started.
And Marty Schottenheimer's not in.
Marty Schottenheimer's not in. He should be in the Hall of Fame.
I mean, yeah. Again, Mike. Yeah, you're right. Mike Shanahan, get him in. And I don't think Tom Flores is in either. 2 Super Bowls. I don't think Tom Flores is in either.
I don't understand. I don't
know.
Well, you called it. You said, hey, you know what? Kyler Murray's going to win that job, and they made the announcement. Boy, you talk about an epic fail from a front office. J.J. McCarthy's – they want to get him out of there now too. I don't know if that'll happen, but Kyler Murray's impressed that much. Just shows you again, and this goes back to our question we asked yesterday. Is it evaluation or is it lack of development? What do you think? I mean, this is a prime case to look at it, I guess. Kyler Murray got run out of Arizona. Now he's got new life, and I don't know if J.J. McCarthy's going to get a second life. Maybe he will.
Well, I'm reminded of I think of this little weak analogy. When I played ball at Radford, we had a guy that we recruited. I'll leave his name out of it. That was really good coming out of high school. Rick, he was fantastic. I think he led the state in AAA scoring. But he was a freshman, like I was a freshman, and we brought in a junior college guard that was an All-American. Well, he was a really good player, but this junior college All-American could go. And so he waited his turn for 2 years, and guess what happened after those 2 years? We brought in another junior college stud that played at the position, and he never got a chance to play. So what ends up happening in my case, in this analogy, is this. Sam Darnold and just played so wonderfully, and they lose him, but then McCarthy gets hurt, and he never reestablishes himself as the one. Not particularly like my analogy that someone came in over him, but this Kyler Murray example is where someone came over and played better. But Rick, let's just make it simple. Kyler Murray wasn't going to come over here to be a backup.
No.
In fact, no. I heard a report this week. I did not know that the Rams were interested in Kyler Murray backing up Matthew Stafford. And he said, I had no interest in that. I want to play. And so with the Cardinals picking up all the contract except a dime or two, he could have gone anywhere and played. And he picked Minnesota to go to. Why? Because that organization develops quarterbacks. That they got O'Connell is the quarterback whisperer. And he feels like that's a place he can play. He's going to be ridiculous on that turf. You and I have our feelings about grass and turf. But since they've got turf, be fast on it, right? And so, and then you also could hear conversations about the receivers that were talking about how much they loved what was going on with them. You can just see that organization And they made no bones about it. They didn't even wait till after a preseason game.
No.
They were like, listen,
just going to do it.
we're going to do it. We're going to do it. And what are you going to do, JJ? And of course, Rick, JJ McCarthy won a national championship with Michigan. But is there anybody that came out of that saying, you know what, other than Jim Harbaugh saying, this guy right here, he's this, that, and the third, and he may prove to be that guy, but I don't think any of us looked at Michigan and said, he's the force multiplier. No, what we said about Michigan is Harbaugh's coaching all those guys to be the reason.
Correct.
That was what I think a lot of us saw it as, whether that's right or wrong or whatnot. And so Kyler Murray, again, and Andy Bitter, I'll be interested to hear what he has to say about the Vikings having Kyler Murray. But I find it to be intriguing. In fact, we talked about it before the season ended. The rumor started about it. I thought to myself, that would be a fantastic fit if he can return to the Kyler Murray that was the first third of his career in Arizona, giving people fits with those legs and the way he moves. It's going to be interesting to see. That division is non-compromising. Bears, Packers, Lions. It's not going to be easy. That's a very physical division, always has been. But I like the move. And Carson Wentz is the backup. There's, to your point, Rick, they very well may be a trade on the move here. I would not be surprised if that happened, Rick. I would not be surprised. I would not be.
Well, I go back to Sean Payton, who'd already marked Bo Nix off his draft list because he was sure Minnesota was going to take him. They said, well, okay, it's over. Let's just go ahead and get Brock Bauer. They were ready. They were on the phone with Brock Bauer. And then they said, hey, we're taking JJ. Whoa, wait a minute. Yeah, so get the
That's
car
crazy.
Yeah, so it's weird.
Well, Rick, did you feel the same? This is a Denver question for you, off script. Did you feel that Bo Nix would be what he is, like Peyton did? I didn't either.
No, I never really liked him at Auburn at all. And he got to Oregon. He changed a little bit,
did
but
better.
No,
Yeah.
I did not.
In fact, he went sixth, and that's probably and that's probably where I would have had him in the pecking order based on the other stuff. Don't you agree?
Yeah, I wasn't excited about it.
But what's interesting about it is once he got with Peyton, you felt like kind of like when people used to go to the Patriots, you would go, I don't know who this guy is. He's not good. Oh, if the Patriots get him though,
that's
you
what
feel
it is,
like it could be something that happens. That's kind of how I felt about with Bo Nix. But but he exceeded even that for me. And so shout out Sean Payton in Denver for getting it right, getting the right fit and getting the right guy and the temperament to do what Sean Payton wants him to do.
Well, speaking of quarterback reclamation projects, the Cleveland Browns are all in on Deshaun Watson. I don't blame them. I don't think the cast of characters they have behind him are very good. It's going to be his last shot. He's going to start preseason, see what he's got. What do you think? They're invested so much in him. I know everything that's tied to him, but do they have a choice as an organization? Really? I mean,
don't you have to see?
You have to see. Yeah.
You have to see. I mean, you have paid $230 guaranteed dollars, every red cent. I think he's played. Is it 19 games? I may be optimistic thinking that, and this is a 5-year deal. Can you believe it's been 5? This is the 5th season that he. If my math is right, 5 seasons in Cleveland. That's back to 2021. I can't believe he's been there as long, if not longer, than he was in Houston. If you think about it, between the time he had to set out and the injuries he's had, it is incredible. There's a weird component of resilience that you've got to applaud the guy for. I mean, not the stuff off the field. No, he doesn't get a pass for that. But tearing his Achilles twice, he tore it in last January or something. He tore it again, I think it is, or something odd, where he's had to recover from 2 of them. My brother, I don't know if you've known anybody who's had this injury, but my brother had it. And let me tell you, they say to you, we'll see you in a year. Like you're in a boot for 3 months, and this is just an average Joe. You're talking about an athlete trying to get back to play. They're like, you're in a boot for 3 months. You're not going to, the stretching and the rehab on it, the whole 6-inch scar and the whole, because your Achilles, there's no walking. There's so, oh my goodness, it's just crazy. So he's had to recover from that. And I think he's had a knee before too. And so the fact he's had to try to live down his contract, and Cleveland is sitting there saying to himself, we're stuck in this situation. Let's throw him out here in the preseason game. I think they are going to start Shedeur the second preseason game, I think is what I saw. So if that's the case, then they need to know who's going to be the one. But Monken is steadfast. He's probably enough of a bulldog to want to try to buck the trend and do it. He's just that kind of guy. He doesn't really suffer fools lightly. So he doesn't care what we think. He's going to try to that who he thinks is the best. But he doesn't have a whole lot of choice. upstairs is kind of saying, we need to know what we've got here. We got to get this thing figured out. And if not, then we're going to get ourselves in line for what? Another quarterback next year? Is that going to be more out of Oregon? It's going to be Manning out of Texas? Are they going to get back in the quarterback pool again? They've got 1 million picks, though, Rick. They've got so many picks that they're going to have to decide, which this is no surprise to those of us that watch the sport, even if you don't watch it a lot. You've been hearing it. Cleveland's got to either decide that they've got one or blow it all up and go all in on getting another one, either through the draft or through trades with picks. And so I don't know if they have much of a choice, Rick. They've got to kind of see what they've got. And you lose Myles Garrett and you get more picks in. I think the defense, though, the good news is their defense is pretty good. I think even the last couple of years, they've been top 5 in the league. But that guy that was the reason for it, he's wearing blue and gold in L.A. now. So we're going to see what Cleveland has to do at that. And of course, we've got the games tonight. I think there are 6 games tonight and 3 tomorrow and 7 on Saturday, I believe. So we'll get a chance to see some people play. Normally, Rick, through preseason games, we're like, well, I'm not sure. But I might have to watch that one to kind of see.
I know.
To see how he looks, to kind of gauge, for our own interest, how this thing plays out.
Remember, David, there were people who actually wrote the Browns did the right thing. Boy, they won that trade with Myles Garrett. I'm going to remember that as the season goes on.
Oh, same. Yeah. Okay. This is no shot at Verse. Listen, they got a great Jerry Verse, a good football player, but you talking about Myles Garrett, ladies and gentlemen. That's what we're talking about here.
Yeah. All right. Preseason games. I mentioned it in the open. We got games tonight. We got teams going against one another. It's great. I mean, regardless of what it is, hey, look, I was unapologetic. I thoroughly enjoyed watching the Hall of Fame. Second half, I wanted to go to bed, and I'm watching Haynes King, and I'm watching the officials stay out of the game, so it felt like football. They were letting some things go that normally they wouldn't. And young guys out there trying to win jobs or impress other teams. Haynes King runs it in on the last play.
Great play.
It was a great Hall of Fame game, man. It really was. But,
7 million viewers, Rick. Didn't you say that? 7 million viewers.
7 million, the highest one in 10 years. The highest Hall of Fame game in 10 years.
That is crazy. I heard you talk about it on the show, and I couldn't agree with you more. It was great to just see. It's so funny. I'm so anal about football. It just looked cleaner and crisper. Like the game looked cleaner. It looked crisper. It was Tirico on the call. Man, it was back. There were pads popping. You could see what folks are just energized about our sport, the NFL. It is our labor of love. But the fact that it wasn't a sloppy game, it was 33-30. They went for it at the end, and those guys were jubilant at the end. It was just so good. And unfortunately, he got banged up. But I think he's going to make that roster, Rick. I think he's going to make that team, don't you?
Yeah, he's going to make that. Oh, yeah. I think he's going to push. He might end up pushing for the starting job in another year. You never know.
Let me tell you. Well, here's what's funny. You were a fan of his at Georgia Tech. And you talked about, I listened to you on the show, and that Georgia Tech mindset that they've got, not to drift off into college football, but Brent Key, that coach, I think it's Brent Key, he is perfect for Georgia Tech football. Georgia Tech can kind of get lost in the mud a little bit around ACC when you got all the Florida States and Miamis and all the stuff, and then you get Tech and all of the riddle. But Georgia Tech, that guy right there, he's going to be physical, and their quarterback kind of mirrored that. And so, in fact, I'll be interested to see what they're going to do to replace him this year at Georgia Tech, because that guy, I think he's going to be a factor in that Carolina locker room. It seems like people like him a lot. And so, yeah, Rick, the Hall of Fame game, we can only hope that the 6 games tonight will equate to that same thing. Detroit's at Cincinnati tonight. Obviously you're not going to see Joe Burrow. You're not going to see Goff. Green Bay's at Pittsburgh tonight. That's actually an NFL Network game. And so Aaron Rodgers will love for that game to have been in Green Bay during his last season. That would have been kind of cool to see, because this is the second time that he's been playing against Green Bay that it hasn't been in Lambeau Field. And so I saw an article on that just yesterday. Colts are at New England. Cardinals are at the Raiders, and we'll see if Mendoza is going to play tonight. So that'll be one to look at and to see. Chargers at Houston, and then Tennessee's at San Francisco. And God love us, San Francisco, please stay away from everybody, because you guys get hurt getting off the bus. No disrespect to the most physical camp I've ever seen. I guess San Francisco, Rick, every time you turn around, guys are just hurt on that football team. And so if they can make it across the finish line, they may actually be okay this year. So those 6 games are tonight. We got 3 tomorrow, and then we've got 7 games on Saturday. So A lot of NFL coming down the pike. Real football games. Can't wait to see them.
Francisco Mendoza gets to play tonight. I'm looking forward. I mean, I know. Raider fans should be excited. Tonight. So
will they pull the trigger? Well, Rick, at some point, I mean, you've got to play the guy. I mean,
yeah.
You know, and if you're Kirk Cousins, what an interesting career. Kirk Cousins probably made $400 million.
At least.
I don't have the numbers in front of me, but every time I turned around, he was on a franchise tag. He got a lump of money. He was on another franchise tag. He got a lump of money. Those years with Washington, he got those. You know, you like that. Remember all that? He was chanting, and then he goes, I guess, up to what was it, Minnesota next? I guess, and he got paid up there a lot. I'm maybe missing a step in there, and then he goes to Atlanta, gets a chunk of money there. I mean, he has cashed in. But listen. And here he is again. He's yet to be the guy alone for a long period of time. But, boy, he has carved himself out a career. He's in his late 30s, mid to late 30s now. But Mendoza's breathing down his neck, and so he's going to have to go out there and win, Rick. Not by a little bit either. He's going to have to win by a decent amount, or they're going to be coming out after him. And so, but he's built for it. He's a made man. So
yeah.
But Mendoza and that Raiders team, Rick, they're not going to be sleepy this year, I don't think. I think they're going to be – they're going to be, they're going to be significant enough that a guy like you with the Broncos, you don't want that smoke over there. You got more than enough to deal with in that division.
Yeah, I think this Clint Kubiak Mendoza combo is going to cause me nightmares for years to come. Yeah.
Well, there's no passes in your division, Rick. I mean, there's the Chiefs. Do we think that they're going to be back? They're not going to be terrible, even if they're not back to what they were 5 years ago. They're not going to be terrible again. You just can't expect that. So,
no.
But y'all aren't afraid. You're not afraid.
I know. We'll just go out there and line up, see what happens. All right, you got more predictions coming up from the wild card to the divisional games. We got to the postseason. Who you think's going to make it? Now you got you're advancing them now. So
yeah, we're gonna move them one more layer for everybody today. We'll start in the AFC. So last week we set up the games to be 7-2, Ravens versus Broncos, Chiefs versus Bengals, Pats versus Texans. Second team's a home team. I have the Broncos beating the Ravens in that opening game. I've got the Bengals beating the Chiefs in that game, and I got the Texans beating New England. And so based on that, with Buffalo getting the bye, my prediction, they'll be the 1 seed. That sets up the Bills versus the Texans. That would be your divisional game in Buffalo. And then I've got the Bengals coming to Denver to play that divisional game. So that would be the 2 divisional games that would be in the AFC. And we'll see how that plays out next week. And then in the NFC, I had the Rams getting the bye as a 1 seed. So the 7 seed Lions at the Eagles, I had the Eagles winning that game. Right. Then I had the Seahawks at the Packers, 6-3. I had the Seahawks going to Lambeau and winning that game. If you remember years ago, that was the game where Matt Hasselbeck said, "We'll take the coin and we're going to win." And oops, they didn't. So it'd be a bit of a rematch of that game. It's funny how those kind of things, football always lends itself to. Didn't this happen before? Yes, it did happen before, right? And then I've got the Cowboys at the Panthers. I've got Dallas winning that game. Sneaky Cowboys, Rick. The quietest offseason I've heard in Dallas in forever. No contracts. I don't remember 5 Jerry Jones quotes this offseason, right? Since training camp has started, or even the OTAs. They got Pickens in on a franchise tag. He's quiet, not a lot of injuries. They signed Quinnen Williams to that huge $100 million deal for 3 years, part of the Michael Parsons trade where they stacked up picks. There's a lot of people, yours truly included, that's bullish on the Cowboys. They're going to end up playing the Eagles in the divisional game. The Seahawks is a 6-1 matchup. Cowboys is a 5-2 matchup. So that's where we stand. And then next week, we'll see who we think is going to advance to the championship game. And we'll get a chance to – and by the way, because there's preseason games, not sure we'll get a great look at what things are, but we'll have an idea of how these organizations are looking by next week. We'll get a chance to see a little bit about what's going on, and we'll be able to go from there with that. So a lot of fun picking these things, and we'll see how far we can make it and see how close we get. We'll measure this thing up here. In 28 days from tonight, we get the opening game. It's actually 27 days from tonight. It's Wednesday night. That's right. It's going to be the Rams and the Niners in Australia. And then, no, I'm wrong. The Rams and the Niners in Australia is the Thursday night game. Or was that the Wednesday game? I think that's the.
Yeah, I don't remember who's the Wednesday
I
game.
think the Seahawks may be
Is that the opener
against the
Seahawks?
Rams. I think that's against the Rams. I believe that's right.
I think that's right.
Yeah, it's definitely the Wednesday before the Thursday. 27 to 28 days away. We'll be here before you know it. Yeah,
it's here, man. No more weekends without football until January, late January.
No, sir. No, sir. And then that's right. Hopefully, stuff is done. Did you you have soccer to do? So you're back at it too, right?
Yeah, tonight. Yep, it's the home opener. It's the season opener tonight for Ben Sarabi's program. He's on the quest for championship number 10.
Ben Sarabi, the GOAT of Radford coaches. The GOAT of Radford coaches. He is the guy. He is the guy. And by the way, Rick, it's New England, Seattle on Wednesday the 9th.
Yeah, New England, Seattle. That's right.
They open the season. Then San Francisco and the Rams from Australia. It's the Thursday night game. And then of course, Sunday's the full slate. And then we close the weekend out with who? Denver Broncos and Kansas City Chiefs for Monday Night Football to close it out. And by the way, Rick, no dual Monday night games, I don't think, this year. You know, we used to, that would drive us nuts at 10 o'clock start time. God bless us in the East Coast. You're trying to get up at 5 in the morning, can't make it happen. I don't think that there are any dual Monday night games that I remember seeing. So I think one game on a Monday night's enough.
And I hate my team opens on a Monday night. They open the season. I can't. I want to play on Sunday afternoon. I don't want to play on a Monday to open the season. I hate that.
Yeah. Well, I hate it for you. What an opportunity to steal a good division road game in Kansas City while it's not 3 degrees. So go out there and steal one from them.
True.
Glass half full, guy. Listen, they're going to make you got to go eventually. Might as well go get them now. Mahomes may not be at his best, so they at least gave you that. So
correct.
But that's not the greatest gift for the division winners, is it, Rick? To have to go on the road and play them for the number 1 overall seed from last year. Here's your gift. Hey, you get to go play the Chiefs on the road, but. TV ratings abound. So we'll be there. We'll be there watching though, Rick. We can't leave them. We're gonna be there, brother.
No, we'll be there. We'll be there. All right, my man. Great stuff as always. Enjoy the games. I know you will this week.
Yes, sir. Next Thursday morning we'll unpack them. We'll do more picks, brother. Let's do it.
All right, brother. Stay safe, man.
You too, buddy. Tell everybody hello. See you soon.
I will. All right. Great stuff as always. The best in the business. David Smith. There you go. Good luck finding anything. Weekend of preseason football any better than that guy. You're not. Again, show me, send me an example, and that'll be the first time anyone's actually come through with an example of someone who's better than Dave. I don't care how much money they make, and I don't care what network they're on. It doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter, to quote Bill Murray in Meatballs many years ago. Andy Bitter going to join us from Tech Sideline. Jonathan Sweet, we're going to talk about his nephew. This is a cool story talking about the NFL. His nephew's been signed by the Jets. We get Andy's update on everything going on. He's been doing a lot of interesting stories coming out of Media Day, and we'll get his take on how everything went. No hope for the Steelers this season, Brandon asks. Well, you got Mike McCarthy as your head coach. You got Aaron Rodgers in his last year. How effective can he be? I don't know. The thing about the NFL, it's very, very few times can you just easily say a team doesn't have a shot. So we'll see. Everything's new in Baltimore. Everything's new in Pittsburgh. Unfortunately for Wayne, everything's the same in Cleveland. And you have Joe Burrow trying to stay healthy in Cincinnati. And, David loves Cincinnati coming out of that division. But that Browns defense is going to be really strong once again, right, Wayne? With Myles Garrett leading the way. Oh. I'm told the Browns won that trade by certain people. I think David doesn't dislike the Chargers. I think the Chargers are one of those teams that's kind of – we need to show it this year, right? Is this year 3 for Harbaugh? Defense should be pretty good. They're going to run the ball. So we'll see. The only guarantees are the Browns losing in Texas. I don't know if the Browns won the draft. That's what everybody tried. Yeah, they did okay. It was a good draft. I love all the immediate grades that go out after the draft when you can't really ever grade a draft until 2 or 3 years down the road, right? Lots of Washington fans on our professional door text line very concerned about the unfortunate comments made by Jaden Daniels, or actions made by. Actions. Get your lawyer to send a cease and desist letter to your school that you finished with. Wow. Craziness. Craziness. Yeah. Let AB know I sent him the invite. I know he's got school stuff going on now. He may be involved with that, right? Yeah, I don't know what's going to happen in Cleveland. They continue to show they don't have the propensity to make good decisions because they're building that new stadium, and they proudly boasted their new turf. You have Denver talking about their new stadium, and one of the things they took into consideration was the ability to continue to grow natural grass, which they'll continue to play on. Same thing in Buffalo, but yet in Cleveland, no. They can't wait. They've never had turf before, but they can't wait to incorporate turf into their brand new multi-billion-dollar stadium. You know, something the players hate playing on, and many Browns have also said they don't want to play on it. But hey, let's put turf into the new stadium. Been told by multiple sources the only way to describe the Miles Browns are always going to brown, and the rest of the division rejoiced. Imagine, yeah. Agreed, Big Al. USC, Arizona State, LSU. How does he have any sway? How can you send a cease and desist? He's mad because they gave out his number this year. He didn't win anything. He won. He had a 2-5 record against ranked teams. He won the Heisman. Didn't win anything team-wise. And he did that last night, and people are blown up about it today. And I think it's disappointing if you're an LSU fan, obviously, and if you're a Washington football fan, you kind of have to go, yeah, a little bit. Let's be honest. Let's just be honest on how that goes. It's not like he was an LSU lifer, right? It's not like he came out of high school and couldn't wait to go to LSU and he worked and he stayed there, blah, 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 blah. No, he went to 3 schools because he was unhappy and had derogatory things to say about each of the 2 schools he was at previously going into LSU. And now here he is doing that. Turf is great for teams that are fast. Oh. It's going to be funny that if the NFL, there's going to be hopefully in a year or so, there'll be some kind of new movement, and the league's going to announce it's going to support franchises moving to grass coming out of the World Cup, and the Browns are going to be the one. What? Oh. Maybe we should go ahead and go to grass. After all. All right, so this is fun. I got to show you this. And I think Thunder did this right here. Yeah. Folks, you may not have known this, but there you go. Selma Hayek filling in for me. Sometimes she just likes to run in and just start doing the show. Actual footage of Selma filling in to do the program. And this may be the greatest thing I've ever seen in my life. It's scary how good people are with technology. You think you'd hear more about the Panthers around here? Yeah, because they're on the uptick. They're on the uptick as well, I think. Yeah, see, I didn't either, Prometheus, 100%. Can she do Pop tonight? Ladies and gentlemen, Selma will be hosting Pop tonight. It'll be the all-time most attended and interacted Pop episode ever. Is that not the greatest thing ever right there? That is one very attractive human being, by the way, in case you didn't know that. Okay. See, I'm with you, Prometheus. I never did either. I got to see him every week. We had to watch him every week. All my friends were Redskins fans. Just like I couldn't pick the Steelers or Cowboys. That was my mom and dad's teams. Mom was a lifelong Cowboys fan, and my dad was a lifelong Steelers fan. Well, he pulled for the Colts, and then the Steelers was another team that he put. Virginia Tech will hopefully never leave grass. No. They have the most qualified, wonderful people ever. Tonight's pop subject, Selma movies. Now, you got to admit, if you were to chime into the channel tonight and you saw this, you wouldn't be turning away. Actual footage of the future here on the program. That could be the greatest thing I've ever seen in my life. I'm not sure we're going to get Andy with us today. Andy has not responded. I don't know if I know it's first week of school. Jonathan Sweet will join us at 7:30, and then we're going to have Dwight Vick. So, he just woke up. Okay, no worries. No worries at all. Those were classic Wade. Probably can't show the one of mine and Selma's embrace now that I'm married. Yeah. What coaches do I think are on the hot seat? It's a great question. A great question. Well, Bill Belichick's name's got to be at the top of the list. Let's just go through that. I mean, has to be at the top of the list. For me, it's hard to really pick out somebody in the SEC. DeBoer just got a 8-year extension. He's not going anywhere. Everybody else is new. The Big Ten, Lincoln Riley, maybe? Well, we know Norvell and Loxley are because they were a holdover. I think they were held over with the administration expecting them to fail. Like, Norvell's got to really pull out a good season, and I think even he knows that. I'm trying to think of guys that we're not thinking about. Lincoln Riley, USC, is really underperformed for a guy who was given his own private jet. But, yeah, definitely Norvell and Loxley. Yeah, I'm with you, Wayne. I mean, I don't know why they did that. Now, here's $91 million. Oh, by the way, Alabama was 7-5. See ya. I mean, that could happen. Kurt Signetti is set for life. It's a good question. I've seen that a lot. Is Dabo on the hot seat? I don't know if Dabo – that's a good question for me. You heard David Teal yesterday say that it was a very intriguing season. Could be. Dabo's that's a good guy. I would put Dabo there. Let's do that. But I'd have Belichick at the top of the list of guys we haven't already talked about. Low Country says, yeah, if Selma's on here, Rick, I'm not getting anything done. I'm with you. Andy Bitter joins us from Texas Satellite. What's going on, AB? How are you, man?
No, I finally woke up here.
That's okay. You got school, right? For the youngin' too.
Yeah, I just forgot to set my alarm a little bit earlier. I woke up. I'm like, oh no, it's Thursday.
Oh, you're good. You're good.
So I'm usually barely awake, but I'm definitely barely awake right now.
That's okay. That's okay.
It's the preseason. We're all ironing out the kinks.
Exactly right. We haven't started the season yet. Come on. Well, let's get you raring to go here with some things you've been talking about. Coming out of Sunday and Media Day, you've had some good articles coming out. What do you got? What's some of the impressions you had, how everything went the first James Franklin Media Day for you guys?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's the optimism that you get on Media Day, right? They've practiced 2 times at that point, or 3, whatever it was. I think they had 3 because it was a padded practice on Saturday. And, everybody's optimistic. Everybody sees the path to ultimate success this year. And it's always a fun time of year to talk to guys because, nobody's banged up. There's not the reality of, a tough game or a week where they didn't play as well as they hoped. So, optimism abound throughout the team. And, good to see some guys healthy. Jaquez White, Logan Howland, Justin Terry. These are all guys that were, banged up in the spring or at the end of the spring game, and to see them out there and actually practicing, I think when you see a full complement of players in the team, it's a lot more encouraging. And that's especially true in the offensive line and also true when you talk about your number 1 cornerback.
Have you been able to see enough of practice to have a good impression about certain guys or a position? I guess tight ends are getting, that room looks pretty solid. Anything else that stood out to you? What limited access you've had?
Yeah, it's just not enough time to draw a conclusion. We saw 4 periods on Sunday. The periods on last Thursday that we saw, they weren't even in pads at that point. So that's barely football that we're talking about. The stuff we see is typically individual drills, and then we get a little bit of one-on-ones. So the periods where we saw the cornerbacks going against the defensive back or the receivers, that's fun. Luke Reynolds made a nice play on that first one, and he was very worked up about it. It's like, and 2 effing feet, and 2 effing the receivers definitely had the best the first day. And I think the defensive backs came back the second time and played a lot better on Sunday that we saw. So a little back and forth there. That's probably good. You always see one side just dominate, and then they're going, oh, well, this side is really good, or is this other side really bad? There's a punch, and then there's a counter punch.
So the question I've gotten most for you from about 4 or 5 different people leading up to you coming on is, can you ask AB, what's going to be the injury information status with James Franklin? Are we going to get updates? Are they going to keep things close to the vest? What's your vibe right now with that aspect of
it? You're going to get nothing.
Nothing at all.
It's going to be nothing. He's talked to us ahead of time. He's like, listen, don't even ask the question because I'm not going to answer it.
Okay, there you go.
Like if you want to ask the SID beforehand, maybe we'll tell you if it's like long term or not. But he's like, I always do this. I'm like, I don't talk about questions. So you only have so much time. So if you're going to ask the question, you're just wasting a question. It's not like Pry, where Pry's like, I'm not going to talk about injuries. Then you ask him and he tells you. Right?
Right, every little detail.
He couldn't help himself. He's just like, well, I think he's going to be game time decision. Like, always give, sort of BS answers sometimes with that. It's going to be a game time decision. Franklin won't even just like talk about it. So, yeah, I don't think it's going to be worth asking the questions. That's a good way to head off questions anyway and do it. But they have this availability report that is required of ACC games. So once you get past these first 3, whether or not he answers questions about injuries, they're going to give answers about availability before the game. So again, the questions you probably don't need to ask them as much anymore because of the availability report. But
that's a good point. There you go.
We'll see how it goes. I'm sure there's going to be some guy that's some injury looks bad on a Saturday, and we're going to have to ask at that point, and we'll find out.
I loved your response, by the way. I just now saw this. Sons of Saturday, ask your ideal Blacksburg game day. You had a good list there, man. Yeah, it was pretty good. That's pretty easy to come up with.
A little bit different than the typical person out there. So, game times, I like it as early as possible.
11 a.m., baby.
Weather's got to be nice. I don't care about pregame activities. I'm sitting in the press box anyway. Give me a great non-conference opponent for $1. Yeah, I'll do that. And then the last one, that's what I hear all the time from people whenever I tweet about uniforms or something like that. They're like, I wish the coaches would worry more about the game plan than the uniforms. They realize the coaches are sitting around putting actual brain power behind the uniform choice here. They're game planning. Don't worry about that. But yeah, I got the whole list done for $6 and saved $9 for NIL.
You did. Everybody's talking about the size of this team. What, the 300-pounders abroad, everywhere, right? The biggest team maybe Texas ever had, Bill Roth told us yesterday. So.
They are very large, and you need that in today's football. And I think, James Franklin likes to run the ball, and that's been his MO his whole time at Vanderbilt, at Penn State. And if you're going to do that, you have to have good backs, but you also have to have pretty big linemen. And you're going to just shove guys around. That's how you have to succeed when you're in the Big Ten and the weather gets not so great. And, everybody can pitch the ball around in September, but can you do it in November when it gets a little chillier?
Yeah.
The weather is not as forgiving. I think it can be like that here in Virginia. It's not quite like the same as in Penn State, but it can be, pretty not great weather at the end of November. And a bunch of games against UVA, I seem to remember, where the weather was not great at all, and have to run the ball. So I think that is just sort of the makeup of his teams. Is he likes, big hulking linemen. They seem to have found a lot of those guys, and the default is that they start at 300, not that they get up to 300, and that's sort of been the roster construction. And you can see that it's a bigger group, that's for sure.
Wayne's saying that they need a bigger food budget, I guess, for the offensive linemen.
I think they've got a pretty good. We asked Kyle Altuner about that at the beginning of the week, and we're like, "Where do you guys go for meals?" He's like, "Texas Roadhouse," and I'm just like, I'm the owner of Texas Roadhouse, and I see 25, 300-pound guys coming in. It's just like, you hit the alarm bells for your staff, like code red. We're at DEFCON 1 here, folks. We're gonna have to be on our game here, because we asked him is a meal that was 20-ounce ribeye, 2 sweet potatoes, and he said 4 rolls. He limits himself to 4 rolls, which maybe is the most impressive part, because
that's very impressive.
I get to Texas Roadhouse and it's the rolls. It's like spring break. Just give me 1,000 of these rolls and eat them. So, it'd be I think I would love to see the bill at the end of that time. And these guys are flush with cash too with the NIL, so it should be no problem for them paying for this stuff.
Absolutely. Yeah, 4 rolls. That's pretty good. That's very impressive. Might be the best discipline they show all year long. Yeah.
Right.
I got to get a couple things here quickly. When a network is involved with the college football playoff system, it's a red flag, as ESPN has done, right? What's up with 20 teams? Where did that come from?
Yeah, it popped up for a day, and then everybody's like, but it's not too serious. It's like, well, why do you put it out there then? They're clearly putting out feelers and trying to get what it is. I mean, it's ESPN's way to retain control of the TV rights, which is stupid, because it's not worth expanding this thing if you're not going to open up the bids and try to get more money on it. I just liked how it was framed. Like, it's a 16-team playoff with 4 play-in games. I'm like, that's a 20-team playoff. We don't have to do the work, the PR work for ESPN, and call this thing a 16-team playoff. It's a 20-team playoff if you have 4 play-in games. And it's just as stupid as a 24. So don't even start this with me. I don't like it. I think I could live with 16 if it means that they don't get rid of the championship games. But I feel like they're just come hell or high water. They want to get rid of these championship games. I just don't think they understand what they're going to be doing to the sport if they do that, where you're not crowning an actual champion in these conferences. And it just puts so much focus on the playoff. And that's the only thing that you're playing for in a season. And, for 130 teams in football, that's not going to be the end result, is a championship. So what else are you playing for out there? They have to stop making the season feel like that's the only thing worth playing for.
Yeah, right. All right, we'll wrap up here. The two biggest questions I had for people. I love the way you're the one guest I get a lot of questions for from the text line. Can you ask Andy his thoughts the 1 hour fan day? We've been going for years. Very upset to hear they pared it down to 1 hour on Sunday.
Yeah, it's the power hour on fan day. And hey, if you think you're going to go there and get James Franklin's autograph, you're not. He's not going to have like a line. He's going to be working the room and walking around. So I think it's a bit of a misstep by them. I think the head coach is always the most popular item at that thing, especially new head coach that is generating this much excitement. People, want a piece of him. They want those, that 15-second interaction that they can get to get his autograph. And, if Franklin were signing autographs, I think the line would be out the door and they'd have to go longer than an hour because they couldn't get everybody through that thing. I think they're kind of broadcasting that they don't even want to do this fan day. It feels like they do it at an awkward time of the year, and it's shorter and shorter. And I don't know, man, you're asking a lot of your fans now. I mean, you're asking them for money, donations, NIL stuff on top of that. Or do you really want to compete and win in this league? Well, you better donate money and all this stuff. And it feels like the least you can do is donate your time, your availability for a little bit on a thing that's been traditionally something they've done that's gone an hour and a half at least. I'm trying to think, has it gone longer than that in the past? I don't know. And I think they got to make themselves available on this kind of stuff.
Agreed. Yeah, I'm with you on that. It's a bad step. And finally, believe it or not, the most asked question for Andy Bitter this week, over a dozen, his thoughts on his Minnesota Vikings naming Kyler Murray the starting quarterback and the failure of J.J. McCarthy. Wow. Look at that. People know you very well. They know.
Yeah. Well, I saw there's a really funny tweet about it that somebody tweeted something from Game of Thrones where they're like, the Vikings naming Kyler Murray over J.J. McCarthy. And it was one of the scenes from the opening episode where Tyrion, the dwarf, is slapping Joffrey in the face a couple times. And I thought that was perfect. I like it. And listen, they made a mistake with McCarthy. It's not working, obviously. He was lousy last year. They're wasting Justin Jefferson's prime of his career by doing that. They got to bring in somebody that can throw on the ball. And I don't know if Murray can be the guy to lead this offense, but he can lead it better than the McCarthy could. And you just can't waste years in football these times. And you look at the division with the Bears, the Lions, and the Packers. That's a loaded division. You cannot go in there with a quarterback who's not capable of throwing the ball. And it's not just Jefferson, Jordan Addison, Hawkinson, the weapons they have in that offense. So they're going to roll with Murray. I like the signing when it happened because they got him for the league minimum or whatever. It's a pretty low risk chance that they're taking. And I usually have faith in Kevin O'Connell to get the guy right. So yeah, rolling with Kyler Murray. We'll see how it goes. The Vikings have a history of reclamation projects at quarterback, whether we're talking, Randall Cunningham, Jim McMahon, Jeff George,
Brett Favre.
Brett Favre for a while there. Just a pretty good history of getting guys off the scrap heap and turning them into something okay. Warren Moon. I mean, he wasn't like washed up at that point, but he was past his prime with the Oilers there. So
yeah,
this is in line with the history of the franchise. We're not the Packers. We don't have one quarterback for 20 years every time. And, of course, the difference in the franchises being the Packers have Super Bowl championships, and the Vikings never get there and never win it once they do get there. So who's to say which is the better system?
That's right.
But this is the business they've chosen, and as a diehard fan, I unfortunately have to support the team on this one.
Exactly. I was glad we could see football this weekend. Full throttle football, man. I don't care. I know it doesn't count, but I still want to see the unit. It's going to be great.
Yeah.
All right, brother. Great stuff as always. And what do you got cooking this weekend? People watch for you on Texas Sideline.
They got practice tonight. We'll see what comes out of that, and media day on Sunday. And I think we got to get a couple players that day too.
Okay.
So we'll see. It's kind of TBD based on who they give us.
Okay. All right, man. Well, great stuff as always, brother. Appreciate you, man.
All right. Talk to you later.
All right. Here you go. Andy Bitter joining us from Texas Sideline. Thanks for the questions for AB. We're AB Question Center here on the program. It's good stuff. Good stuff. All right. Yeah, I think you're right. Now, for me, you're right. He is on social media a lot, but to take away the opportunity for fans to have a little moment when you're asking that, I think that's what most people are concerned about, And I get what you're saying. I know you're going to see him on those things, those social media things that are very, telegraphed, and the players and everything. I'm with you. Let me get Boa taken care of before Jonathan Sweet. Hang on. All right. Back now. Just sent. There we go. All right, there we go. All right, good stuff. But I think that's what they're missing here. Because Andy just said what I'd been saying about you're asking a whole lot from fans. More. Give us more. More money. Hey, it's Fan Fest. Do we get to meet Coach Franklin? No, you sure don't. You don't get to meet him. He's not going to sign autographs. And, well, we still want more. I think that's the message that's being kind of lost with the way they set this thing up. Dwight Vick joins us here in just a little bit, joining us now on the program. There he is. He is Jonathan Sweet, Pulaski County Sports and Entertainment. And got some good stuff to talk about. First of all, what's going on? Jonathan, how are you, man?
Wait, Rick, I'm confused. My agent said I'd be talking to Selma Hayek.
Oh yeah.
I don't understand.
Here you go. We kind of
there we
go. A little bit. There we go.
Yeah, that's what I understood. They're like, "Would you want to be on with Selma Hayek?" I'm like, "Absolutely." I had no idea it was going to be Rick Watson.
Yeah, I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. She had to go really quickly. She got an acting gig, so she had to go run to do all that. So,
listen, I love you when I'm like at 7:30, I'm on with the big dog, and it's the first day of school, and I got a 9-year-old.
Oh, that's right. Oh, I forgot about that. I should have asked about that. My bad. That's on me.
No, you may have done me a favor, Rick, actually. Just teasing. No, I love the first day of school.
Yeah. When they're little like that, it's always special that first day. Hey, before we get into what we're going to talk about, which is really cool that you let me know last week, let's get what's happening now with Pulaski County. What are you guys up to now as we head in? Middle of August now. We got high school football season started. Things continuing now at the Forge. What else is happening?
Yes, VHSL, of course, is starting up in the county. Our golf team's looking great. Excited to see what our football team's going to produce this year. As you know, we've got the Sportsplex just a rolling. It's on schedule, so we're gonna not just give you the sneak peek, but look to give the community the sneak peek in early October and let them see what we've got cooking over there. And start selling some memberships and getting people healthy, get people active, and start bringing in some amazing world class competitive sports to the community, the New River Valley.
Well,
And
excitement is brewing. I know that. Every time you talk about what you guys are doing, people just our eyes light up, man. It's cool.
absolutely. And then the Pulaski Mountain X race, Tim Miller's got that thing dialed up. We're looking forward to world class athletes, professional athletes. It's a pretty big purse that is going to be offered to the winners, both female and male categories, for that 100-mile on off road course race. It's going to be something, but there's also the after party for that, the celebration that'll take place at Great Wilderness Brewing, the award ceremony, all the vendors. It's going to be something to come to and see. And yeah, if you dare take the challenge, there's a 30-mile amateur race, and then a 50-mile semi-amateur race, and then of course the 100 miles for the pro. I got to check your card before we let you race that one, Rick.
Yeah, you better. You better. 100 miles. Wow. I marvel at anybody who can actually sign up for that and go, okay, I'm going to see if I can win this thing. You know, right? They're not just doing it. They're trying to, that's amazing.
So to be honest with you, 100 miles isn't bad if you're going downhill, right? Anyone can do that. But this, what makes this so challenging is the course has been laid out. So elevation changes so dramatically. And it's like going to school in the 50s, right? It's uphill both ways. Well, this race is primarily uphill. So these athletes they're going to have their work cut out for them. And it could potentially be one of the most challenging on off-road courses in the country. So we're really interested to see how the pros perform on this track.
Christian saying that he was at his fitness place working out, and members are talking about how excited they are the grand opening for the Sportsplex, and they can't wait to switch to work out up there. That's great. See there, the word's happening, my friend.
Well, we're not trying to take business from these great gyms in our community. We love them. We rely on them. I use them myself. But this is just a different product. The athletic courts and the pickleball and the turf, indoor turf field, and of course the playground. I mean, all of those assets is what makes it special. But we've got some great local gyms, and we need to continue to support them. But can't wait to work out with you and see you at the Sportsplex.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we have you on here. I know we had you on about a week and a half ago, but still, this is cool. And I wanted you to talk about this because everybody's all excited about the start of football season and preseason. And you sent me this text and I read the story. I'll let you tell the story, how an addition to a certain team has affected you and your family in one of the best ways possible. This is so cool.
Absolutely. Suddenly we're all Jets fans right now, and real excited about tomorrow's preseason game. My nephew, Connor Holstein, by way of the Frisco, Dallas area, he was one of the top athlete scholars in Texas. Got a 4-year to Princeton and finished up there. Went to Marist and broke all kind of single season records, and just got picked up by the Jets and worked a mini camp, and now is in preseason and is working his way up the depth chart. Sadiq got injured. Everyone knows what happened there, and he's sidelined a little bit. So it really gives an FCS guy an opportunity to join the NFL. It's so exciting.
It is so exciting. And what is his background? People follow his career now leading up to the Jets, how he's worked his way into this opportunity.
Absolutely. I've seen this kid grow up. He's a hard worker. He'll outwork anyone. He is 6'5", 240 plus pounds. Just a tremendous athlete. To hear the scouts talk about him, he's got a 36-inch vertical. He 10-foot 6-inch broad jump. 21 reps on 225 pro day. I mean, this is from the combine standpoint. He would have been leading all of the tight ends in athleticism. About a 4.6 40. So he's fast, he's tall, he's strong. But moreover, he's cerebral. He's one of the smartest kids. Again, that's why he went to Princeton and finished up there, and then broke all kind of records at Marist. He had caught 42 passes for 600 yards and 14 and a half yards a catch, which basically means every time he touched the ball, it was a first down plus. Yeah, he's something else. All AP All American, Pro Football Network All American. Yeah, he's worked hard and he deserves a good shot at the Jets.
Well, and for me, the way I looked at it too, to get invited into camp at this time is a very positive sign. They've seen enough. They have coming out of what they've been working on training camp to get ready for the actual training camp coming out of the early spring after your draft picks, after your street free agents. But then to say, yeah, we need to bring him in here. That gives him a shot, in my opinion. I may be wrong, but that gives him a real shot. Yeah,
it does. They didn't just bring him in. They brought several in, and then several went home, and he stayed, and he's still staying. And like I said, working his way up the depth chart. That tight end position is very important to the Jets offense. And, in my opinion, they've got a guy who works harder than anybody and who is just a top tier athlete. I've had the privilege of working out with this guy. I'm talking about over the years being able to work out with him. Spent some time at the beach with him. He spent more time in the gym than in the sand. The way he eats, the reason why egg prices are so high is because he eats so many bloody eggs every single day. The guy's just very regimental about his diet and everything he does. And it's really cool to see how these Division I athletes and particularly these NFL pro athletes, how they treat their body and really build themselves to compete.
We'll have to get him if he makes the roster, and he will make the roster.
Absolutely.
We'll have to have him on with you. That'd be great.
I look forward to it. Yeah, he spends holidays with us, and yeah, like I said, I've seen him grow up. His older brother is an athlete too, and really, I think pushed him really hard, and it helped. It's funny, his brother's a pilot, and he's playing and he's playing for the Jets. So I guess they're both aviators, right?
Yeah. There you go. I like that. See, that's why you are who you are. All right, you're getting more comments here. So the Sportsplex people are excited. They're talking about cross training. You talked about that a lot when we were up there. The cross training opportunities, right at the Forge. That's cool.
Yes. So right outside the Forge, the athletic performance training facility, we are working on what we call the pit. The pit is an outdoor fitness. It's not a fitness center. It's an outdoor fitness. I don't even know how to describe it. It literally is a pit. It's an elevated platform, and you climb in, you climb out, and there's going to be all kind of cross training, CrossFit type opportunities in there, whether it's speed ropes or kettlebells or circuit training, sled pushes, all of those things. We're going to have it indoor and outdoor. That's a new feature. I'm breaking that here live. No one really understands what we're doing there yet, and I can't wait to roll it out. But it's a very low cost addition that then incorporates good weather opportunities, expands our capacity for these basically athletes to train and increase their performance. So when Connor comes in, you'll be watching him work out at the Forge.
There you go.
That's where he'll get his reps in.
There you go. Rodney Young says, hello, Jonathan, by the way, from the Patriot. Brandon asks, Jonathan, what packages did the golf simulators include with the Sportsplex and membership levels?
Great question, and that's probably the number one question we're getting right now. We're trying to understand what the capacity we have there. Obviously, simulators are very expensive. They're very delicate. In some cases, they're dangerous, swinging clubs and hitting golf balls. We're going to be doing adult league, youth league. We're going to be providing instruction. So we're using it for a variety of different purposes. We've got to understand what capacity remains so we know what we can sell from a membership standpoint. We don't want to say, hey, yeah, we're going to sell you something, and then there be buyer's remorse because there's not enough capacity and time. Right. When someone gets on a simulator, that they could be on it for 3 hours, right, to play around or to do their training. It's only 3 bays. They're 3 of the biggest, most awesomest bays I've ever seen. TrackMan designed them. We've partnered with them. So it's going to be special. We just need to understand it right now, and we're trying to flesh all of that out, and then we'll see what we can offer the general public.
Another question. This is great. Yeah, ask your questions. That's you got the guy here who can answer all your questions. Is there a member capacity of the facility yet, or is it too soon for that?
It's too soon for that. Obviously, the discounts or the lower rates go to our Pulaski County citizens. We want to serve them first. Just like any facility like this, there's a run on it when it's new, or there's a run on it around the New Year's with resolutions, etc. Again, we're just going to figure all this out. We're building it as big as we can. We're doing some really cool things, particularly in the weight room, to turn the machines over quickly and turn the room over quickly, almost like a small restaurant would with tables. We want to make sure that we get folks in and out. And one of the practices we're going to use is there's no cell phones on the machines, right? I've seen folks occupy the leg extension for a half hour because they got caught in a doom scroll. And we're just not going to allow that to happen. So it's going to feel like a much bigger facility with just some common sense approaches to operations. And then, of course, we have the Forge to expand the weight room. And then we've got a pretty impressive cardio room as well. And if you can't get on a treadmill, guess what? We got a 1/5 of a mile walking track. You can walk on that, and I guarantee you that won't be crowded. There's plenty of room on that.
Yeah, I love that. See, I was walking around trying to do the track. I'm like, this is going to be great. And the what I love about the walking track, and we talked about it when we did the video, there's so much going on. Like, you won't need to have earbuds in and like things to distract you, because you're going to be able to just kind of be involved to the side. That's what's cool. I love that.
Absolutely. It's one of those places you walk in, you're like, I don't feel like working out today. And you get in there, and the energy from everything that's going on gives you a B12, in the arm, and you have a jolt of energy to get your workout in, and to burn off your stress, and to get your mental health right. So this place is very synergistic, is I guess the best way to describe it, the way it's laid out.
Yeah.
And yeah, you're going to catch the vibe when you go in there, and yeah, there's something for everyone in there, and I think there's plenty of space. I always wish I could build it. We could build it bigger. It is a renovation project, so it wasn't designed. It was sort of or wasn't engineered to be a sportsplex. So we had to shoehorn some things in there. I think we've done it really nicely. Our ZMM, our architects, they maximize space. But this was truly designed post-pandemic, so it's not just for the competitors. It's also well designed for the spectators as well, and the visitors. So I think it's going to be a very comfortable, accommodating, and stimulating facility.
Yeah, people asking, you have a lot for the 50 older crowd too. You were talking about that when we were doing the walkthrough. You've got doesn't matter what age you are, you can take advantage of the Forge. No
That's right. We even have Bridge Club, right? If you want to play cards, we're going to have Bridge Club, and we can do that right out there in the arena lounge, or in one of the flex rooms. But yeah, there's a senior room. We call it an active aging. I think that's politically correct. A room for the seniors. You don't have to work out there. It's for 50 and older. I'm getting close to there. I'm probably not going to work out in there. I'm going to work out in a normal gym. But you have those options, and that's what's beautiful about it. You actually, the seniors have 4 different places to work out in there. 5 if you count the gym, the walking track in the arena. So they should be able to find their space, literally and figuratively, while they're in there.
Will there be cleaner and cleaning rags at each station too?
There
That's a
will be.
question. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. We'll make sure that it's kept clean, not only before and after the day, but we'll expect those who use the equipment to clean it after as well.
See, there you go. Whatever you can think of, I have a feeling they've probably already thought of it. So the reaction I got when I was walking around up there, just wow.
Well,
Great questions, though. Yeah.
Great questions. The cool thing is we didn't have to invent the wheel, right? The wheel existed. What we did is fine tune the spokes of the wheel, and really made sure that if we could make that wheel better, more efficient, more affordable, more versatile, then we did that. So we've tried to think of everything, mainly thinking about what folks have thought about before and incorporated it into this facility. And right now we're doing the same thing with operations.
Oh, it's great. It's great. Well, people, you can tell. I mean, people are excited. Are there trainers available for hire? Things of that nature.
There will be. Absolutely. Yeah. Whatever you need. And then there's also the learning curve, right? We're going to understand what demand is there for XYZ, and then we'll supply that demand and evolve. So we might not have everything day one, but we'll continue to continuously improve and evolve, not just the facility, but the operations to accommodate the demand and the needs of our community.
Oh, it's awesome. It's awesome. Well, we can't wait. You can tell the reaction. Like I told you, people are very excited, man. Every time they see you on here, they start thinking about the Sportsplex. So it's great. It's great. And I appreciate you jumping on, especially during school time. I'm sorry about Selma. I'm sorry she had to step away, but we'll work that out next time.
A little disappointed, but I'll get over it. It's okay.
I understand. And we'll be pulling like heck for Connor. Buccaneers, right? Saturday night or Friday night? Is it Friday
That's
night?
right. Yeah, tomorrow night. Yeah,
tomorrow night. So there you go. Maybe he can get him a touchdown and start rocking and rolling. So it'll be on the NFL Network too, so people can watch him up close and personal. So
absolutely.
Thanks for the heads up. That's great to have that connection now. So now everybody's gonna be pulling for him. So
I hope so. Let's make this Jets Nation, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Why not? Unfortunately, he didn't have a great quarterback situation up there, so maybe he can help that out when he's up there.
Well, good receivers, good tight ends, good running backs help mediocre quarterbacks. So let's hope we've got all of that there at the Jets in New York.
Absolutely. Well, all right, brother, keep on keeping on. I know you will, and try to get a little energy, will you? Come on, man. Sometimes you just come on here without any energy.
I haven't had my caffeine yet, Rick.
Everybody always tells me, how does he always have? I said, I'd like to just get an IV and just have it, right? Just fired up like you are. It's great. It's great. It's infectious, my friend, in all the best ways possible. So
I appreciate that.
All right, man. Have a great weekend, and we'll talk again soon.
See you soon.
Thanks, brother. Appreciate you, man. Jonathan Sweet, the chief economic development officer at Pulaski County Sports Entertainment. Great questions. Thanks they're still coming in. A lot of them were repetitive. I didn't ask. Yes, they'll have nutrition specialists. They'll have anything like that, Christian, for training, for your health. They're very conscientious about that. We learned that when we were walking around up there and we did the video. So anything like that, they will have it. Nutrition experts, they'll have trainers, anything you need like that. They're thinking about you and everything else. They're not leaving any stone unturned. And now we have a vested interest in a Jets preseason game. Let's pull for Connor Holstein on Friday night against the Bucs. Great stuff, man. Great stuff. And we appreciate Pulaski County Sports Entertainment, the presenting sponsor of this program. And they'll continue that role coming up in year 2 as we jump into year 2 together here. I didn't bring that up. I should have brought that up. I keep forgetting. See, I'm a terrible self-promoter. I'm just not good at it. I haven't brought it up to hardly anybody this week. But we have Selma filling in. Those are asking, no pop tonight. I'm sorry. I will be working at Radford tonight. Sorry. My apologies. Rick wants to know when the bowling alley is going in. Would they just name it after me? Would they just call it the 186? We could ask Brandon. The 186er. And just have a picture of me going. Or the Sandbagger. That's what Brandon would name it. I could go bowl 10 games tonight and never bowl 186 again. Ever. Dwight Vick here at about, whenever he decides to jump up. Sandbag Alley. Thanks to Family Fencing sponsor our studios. They never sandbag on their fencing. 540-200-8294, Family Fencing and RV.com. McClellan Chiropractic, sponsor of our chat room, 155 Walters Drive. They are the best in the business. I will immediately veto that down. Demoralize the lane. 186, Brandon. That was Brandon, have you looked back at that night and just go, boy, that was a sound thrashing. That was a sound thrashing at the hands of Rick Watson. Pulaski County Sports Entertainment. There you go. We just had Jonathan on, presenting sponsor of this program. Thanks to them. They're the best. Little River Heating and Air, 1095 Radford Street in Christiansburg, 540-553-2971. Thanks to Charles Lee for returning. Also returning, our BDST fan question of the week, 701 West Main Street in Radford. Trust in estate planning. Who's going to finish last? It's going to come down to the wire. From what we've got this morning, and I don't know the exact totals, but there's about 6 votes separating the last 3 teams. There's three finalists. It's Carolina, BC, and Stanford. Who's going to finish last in the ACC? National Bank member FDIC. They never finish last in anything. Matter of fact, they are first. I've been with them for 35 years plus. They're the exclusive banking partner of this program, and they are the best. I fully suggest you go and talk to them about anything that you might want to get done with your finances. Professional Door Incorporated. Speaking of the best, residential commercial garage doors. That's exactly what Travis Williams supplies. 40 years in business. Give them a call, 674-0008. ReadySetFund.com. Bob Christ, 11 at Gmail. You can reach out to Bob and find out how a series of text messages can earn money for you, your school group, your organization quickly. Sundown Electric, one of the best wiring electrical companies around. They built it up from their father. Started it, and the Smith brothers are busy reaching out to Jeff about getting a logo, which they sent, by the way. People asking about T-shirt. We can figure out a way to get you one of these. Let me pop it up there. Sundown Electric, boom, there it is. Commercial, industrial, and residential wiring. That is a great logo with the sun sitting back behind the buildings. See, the sun is setting, so it's sundown. See, that's marketing. It's people that know what they're doing, unlike me. The NRB Super Bowl, who hosted us for the Bash, 382-5525. Men's, women's, mixed leagues, kids as well. Nobody's capable of having a league that can handle my expertise in bowling, but hey, good luck. Lawson's Mobile Home Supply, 300 North Franklin Street in Christiansburg. Give James a call, 540-381-8011. Manufactured parts for your home. Thanks to Brandon at Top Shelf Apparel. We talked about the Montgomery County Chamber of Commerce and their golf tournament coming up. Make sure I get the date right again. September 21st, Blacksburg Country Club, 2 flights in the morning and afternoon. Brandon, you got to be there. Teams of 4 starting at $500. Sponsorships, $100. MontgomeryCC.org/golf classic. Is that everybody? Everyone? That's David Smith. There you go. The best NFL analyst. I think you guys have a new segment called Ask AB. Yeah, everybody was asking AB questions. That's great. Hey, Brandon's going to be at Radford tonight. You've got Concord Mountain Lions women's soccer fever, Brandon. Why not, Wayne? Rick, did you say 186?
Oh my. Oh, no. Oh, no. That was out of nowhere.
Or you could just do this right here.
Oh, my. Oh, no. Oh, no. That was out of nowhere.
I haven't advertised it a lot, but yeah, who knew Selma was right here, right, the whole time? And there she is. Yeah. Exciting stuff from Ms. Hayek. I just hate that I let Jonathan Sweet down. I think he was all fired up. He's always high energy. I think he had a little higher energy level, thinking someone was going to be conducting the interview. Kind of false advertised there, didn't I? Please subscribe, like, and share. As you go through, and if you watch the videos, if you miss parts of them throughout the day, whatever it might be, if you just go back and hit a like, that means a lot. We are well over 1,000 subscribers. Thanks to everybody in that regard, too. I know people get a little frustrated with the ads. I understand, but they're part of the process from YouTube, and I don't control those. So this says it was a bit of a letdown, but I was okay. There's being okay, and then there's that. Like, you're never going to look at that and go, boy, that's just okay. No, that would be like the ultimate dreamscape. Her just taking the initiative to come down and just take over the studio. Selma talking sports would be the highlight of my life, Richard says. Well, in that glorious accent. Yeah. Wayne, I saw your picture of the hair. That was funny. That's very apt. We get a lot of interaction today. We're getting a lot of votes in on our Ryan Pry Attorney question of the week. Is North Carolina going to be picked last? Wow. I think they're going to be one of the finalists. North Carolina's going to be one of the finalists of this thing. I really believe that. That's going to happen. Tomorrow, the Finally Friday edition, Coach Elmo, Mike Ashley, the open mic, and then Jen. I think Jen. Yeah, pretty sure we have Jen. Joining us now on the program, there he is. He's that guy. He is the quintessential source for all things Virginia Tech football, dedicating his life to serve his fellow man and woman and child, Dwight Vick. What's up, brother? Good to see you.
What's going on, man? Good morning to you and the viewers. What's the word?
Yeah, always great to see you. Well, we got a lot going on. It's preseason, but we've got football games to watch, and I just like seeing football, man. Regardless of whether it means anything or not, it means something to somebody who's out there playing. But college football, 2 weeks away? Week 0 will be here. We're getting there, DV. We're getting there.
Yeah. It is good. People always say, "Oh, it's not nothing to watch." I watch old movies, or I just get caught up on work. I haven't watched any free. I didn't watch last week. I think it was Carolina or somebody. I haven't watched.
Yeah, Arizona. Yeah.
Yeah, I heard it was a pretty good game. I don't. But I've never, to be fair, since I got out of high school, I haven't watched preseason football.
I know.
Unless there's a Tech guy playing on a team, or somebody I'm a fan of or interested in seeing, I'll put the game on to see how they do. But I preseason, because the NFL coaches know who they're going to keep unless it's a surprise player. It's kind of like high school tryouts. They already know who's on varsity unless there's like 2 or 3 kids that come out of nowhere or something. They pretty much know. And then they keep it vanilla. But I'll have it on a day because I haven't seen anything. I'm itching to see some kind of competition.
You mentioned movies. Is there a go-to group of movies? Is there like 2 or 3 that you're always going to go, I'm going to watch that tonight? From that group of your all-time favorite films, or some?
What I normally do is I'll go to Amazon Prime or Netflix to see is there something on out that I've not seen that has a good rating or I've heard about, And if it doesn't move me, or I look at the trailer and I'm like, I'll watch it later. Then I go to 80s movies. I always go to YouTube or to Tubi of all places, because Tubi, the 80s movies are free. But I like yesterday, I had on Just One of the Guys, One Crazy Summer with Demi Moore. I had it on like Real Genius. I watched like 4 80s movies. And there was another one. It was Blind Date with Kim Basinger and Bruce Willis. I just watched all these over. Yeah, I mean, again, it's nostalgia for me. It's also
I know
because I already know what's going to happen, and I'll even have it in here in my office while I'm working. I'll have it on in the background. I'll just have it on and I'll look at it every now and then and watch it. But yeah, I've been watching a few series. I've been the new Ted Lasso is out. I like that. It's only been 1 episode, Ted Lasso. But yeah, man, football is back. I'm curious to see what Tech is going to do. We're almost here. I'm so excited to see them play versus hearing all the speculation and breakdown. Shout out to my guys in Boundary Corner and Tech Sideline and all these In Too Deep, these podcasts, breaking down positions and projecting who's going to. I don't know how they do it because we don't know, but we have to give the fans something to talk about, our interpretations. I'm just praying that all these kids, no matter what school they go to, stay healthy. I want them to stay healthy because it's tough when you don't. I know that Tech has had a few injuries so far, I think.
Well, let me ask you this. I've been wanting to ask you this question because they made a lot. People who have seen them, and Franklin as well, has talked about the size of this team, the guys who are over 300 pounds. Now, you were an all-conference lineman. Let me ask you this. How much do you put into the size of an individual being a good lineman? How much of it is size a huge factor like that? Because they're really putting it across there about how big they are, and it's the kind of lineman that Franklin prefers. How do you look at that when you just kind of look at the number? Oh, he's 315, 25 pounds, but how does that necessarily mean he's going to be effective at what he does?
I think so, to some degree. I think my issue, as you know, it's well documented on your show and on Twitter, that I felt that the strength and conditioning program prior to the last couple of years was trash. Guys weren't. I just felt like what we wore down in the fourth and third quarters. Many times we didn't look the part. You can go back to when some of the guys that came in. This is going back to the Fuente era. Some of the guys that came into the program and played as freshmen or redshirted, by the time they were redshirt juniors or true juniors, they still didn't look physical enough to play the Division I Power 4 conference level. Size does help. That means they're getting stronger. That means their body's filling out. But obviously they got to know how to use it. But on the line, man, look, one thing that stood out to me last year. I mean, it was evident. I wasn't at the game, but I watched a little bit of it. I didn't watch the whole game. But when Miami came in Lane Stadium last year, their offensive line looked huge. They made our defensive linemen look like Chuckies. They were so imposing, and they were so big. And I think Franklin is trying to create Tech to having what you call a Big Ten offensive line. He wants them to be imposing and be able to move the power, which is great. That's what you want. So I'm curious to see how that's going to work out. So I'm glad I'm hearing the same reports. I saw a few of the measurables, so that's a good step in the right direction.
Yeah, and you've said that as long as you and I have been doing this about they just don't look right. They don't look like a football team. They don't look like football players, and that won't be the case apparently going forward, right?
Well, yeah, they've been in the weight room. I mean, they've been in the weight room. They've been working out. They've been conditioning. I like the new strength and conditioning coach. He has a hold on the program. Your strength and conditioning program, no matter what era, NIL or no NIL, has to be the foundation of your program. The off season for football players literally starts if you're not in a playoff. Your off season starts in January. In December, you got a short break. If you don't go to a bowl game, you have a whole month. And then that's when the offseason season started. So, you go January, February. Think about it. January, February, March, April, May. Because I count those months, even though that's the spring game time frame, because that's still the off season. And then you have June and July. And then you have August. Because college football, unlike college basketball, is not a long season. It feels long at times, but it goes by very quickly. Come week 0, then it's going to be September. Then it's going to, the league's going to change. Then we have October. And then all of a sudden, you're looking at the stretch run and conference play. So the off season is actually longer than the regular season, which means you need to really put in a lot of work. Football is one of those sports where you really have to have two things occurring. You have to know how to recover, and you have to know how to prepare, lift and put in that investment into your body. If you need to gain weight, that's when you gain weight. If you need to lose weight, that's when you lose it and maintain it and add muscle instead of fat. And these are the things that Virginia Tech was not doing, which is why they would be in the game with Clemson and then fold, or they would have Louisville be competitive and you would see Louisville pull away. Or you would see two guys stop a guy on 3rd and 2, but then they would get rolled over. If you don't believe me, I know you do, but if you don't believe me, and I hate saying this, but go back and look at some of the older Tech teams defensively and how they just would impose their will. And I know everyone didn't look like Cam Chancellor, but I'm just saying even guys like Brandon Flowers and some of the other linemen and linebackers, they were very physically imposing. Jim Davis, a 6'4" defensive tackle from Richmond area, was an imposing figure. Because some of these guys say, I want to go pro, I want to go to the NFL. If your physique and your body type is not ready, not just your mental, you're only going to go pro in your mind. You can go pro in the video game. You're not going to go pro in real life. It is a physical sport. So I'm glad these guys have been putting in the work in the weight room, winter workouts, and I've seen the videos on YouTube of them running hills with the weighted vest, and it's just great. It's just great that they're doing that.
Well, I was gonna, and that's what you're gonna look for. I got a feeling, right? That's what you're gonna be looking for to know things are changing. If those games start to go in Tech's favor, and they are able to hold off somebody, and they are able to keep the momentum they created throughout the course of a game instead of just cave it in like that. That's going to tell you a lot, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I watch the show even when I'm not on, and I know, Franklin, when we met with him, the former players, we met with Franklin 2 weeks ago, I think 2 or 3 weeks ago, and he was very respectful of VMI. He was almost offended that everybody was saying it was a foregone conclusion. But it should be, but he can't say that. And I respect the fact that he's taking them seriously. But that's a game when you should see Tech dominate, just based off their physical ability. Like the difference between a Virginia Tech and the VMI isn't so much the talent, it's the depth. Obviously, VMI has some talent, but they don't have the talent Virginia Tech has, but they should be able to impose their will. Let me bring up some games to show you how bad Tech was. If you remember when Tech hosted Richmond, when Fuente was still the head coach.
Yeah.
Tavion Robinson, out of the 757, returns a punt to break the game open. He returns the punt for a touchdown. Prior to doing that, before he pulled away, that was a competitive game.
Yeah.
Respectfully, the University of Richmond, I visited there when I used to do college tours, great institution, great university. The University of Richmond should not be able to hang with Virginia Tech for 3 quarters, 3.5 quarters. It is unacceptable. That's when I started to question, what are we doing in the weight room? What are we doing with conditioning? Because part of when I played Navy, a very good program, respect to those guys, the midshipmen. We played Navy. Navy was one of the most well-conditioned teams I've ever played against.
Yeah.
But just on our physique and will alone and our ability, we would really have to give away the game to lose that game. Like they're not supposed to be able to level up. And I know with NIL and the portal, some of the mid-majors have really, grown as far as their ability to retain or get talent, like an ODU. But again, I stand on the fact that if your weight program is the way it should be, you should be crushing for. That's why teams like Georgia, when they play a directional school in state or a mid-major, the first quarter it might be 10-3, 17-6,
Yeah.
and then you blink
and then
it's 38 because they basically impose their will. It's not just they have so much talent.
You're right.
They
You're
are
right.
physically bigger and better, and that's how football works. Football will always be. We need more Wreck-It Ralphs and more Thanos than we do Pee Wee. We don't want Pee Wee Hermans.
No,
we don't need Pee Wee. We need Thanos. We need Wreck-It Ralphs. We need guys that talk like the Dinobots from the Transformers. That's what we need, and that's what you want.
You need Thanos when he turns around and he goes, "Fine, I'll just do it myself." And he's putting the glove on, right? That's what we need in Black Spring.
Yeah. Look, when Thanos was fighting the Avengers and he moved the moon, that's the kind of imposing stuff. Because the Incredible Hulk was scared of Thanos when they fought. He didn't want to turn into the Hulk. So again, all jokes aside, we always use movie references, and I love how you follow along. But in the serious world, what I'm basically saying is we can't be soft. And some of that softness, a lot of that starts in the offseason. You address softness in the offseason. This is why you had, before the 5 for 5, you had red shirts. I redshirted. I've always had the size going back to when I was a sophomore in high school. Even my sophomore year, I started, and I began to put on weight, healthy weight and muscle. And then I got to Tech. As good as I was in high school, I had the size, but I wasn't mentally or physically ready. And, a lot of it has to do with adjusting and also being in the weight room. So I'm loving the fact that, again, Tech is looking the part. And this is the cool thing about Franklin, is because he came from the Big Ten and Penn State was extremely successful. And not just recruiting, but also putting a very good product on the field. He knows what a winning team looks like. And I think that is helping Tech, not just with credibility with the media, but also, with the kids. I mean, these are young men, ages 18 to 23, maybe a little older with the portal, but, that age range, which even though these guys may come from winning programs in high school, when you get to the Power 4 conference, you're going to go against talent every week. Even in my time, when we played UAB, I knew I was going to be better than the guy I'm going against at UAB.
Yeah,
however, It was still a Division I defensive lineman I was going against, where I couldn't just chill or take a play off. So when you have that team that understands the importance of playing the right way and preparing, and then effort and playing smart football and really attacking the sport, they'll be great. They'll be good. They'll be better than they have been, I believe.
Well, and when people ask me what's your honest opinion about Franklin, that's what I'll say. I think you touched on it. The fact that he came from this is the first time I think it's ever happened in Tech history, right? You came from a power league, one of the two leaders in college football. He's going to be SEC or Big Ten. You came from the Big Ten, they're now the best league. They won the last 3 natties. So you know what it's supposed to look like. You know what it takes, right? You kind of understood why your own program got away from you at Penn State at the end. That, to me, is the most encouraging thing, because he's been at the highest level of college football in that league, and he knows how guys are supposed to look and how they're supposed to work. So I think that's the biggest advantage of having a guy like that here. So
yeah, and I mean, and again, the assistants. I keep hearing about, Franklin. You and I both, and Franklin is the face of the program. He's the head guy. But I said this on your show 3 weeks ago, maybe 4 weeks ago. But the assistants also have to do their part.
That's right. That's right.
I've always said, well, your staff. Your lineman coach. We got the guy that was at West Virginia. My guy Chris. My brother Chris is very high on him. I'm not low on him, but I just want to see what the offensive line does, regardless of the injuries. I want to see how that depth plays out and how they're able to protect the pocket and how they're able to establish a run. When you have running backs like Hawkins and Jeffrey Overton Jr., they don't need much. So if we can really establish the run and we can pick up blitzes, that's been my criticism of Tech the last handful of years is the inability to pick up blitzes and stunts. Almost like they didn't, we had a period in practice called blitz pickup for the entire ones and twos on offense. And this is based on scouting the opponent we were playing that week. And this is also preparing for any kind of exotic blitzes you see. And it was so helpful, I promise you. If there was one period in practice, my ADHD didn't really impact me, it was that period. Because I would lock in and I would like, okay, weak side blitz, I got this guy, Derek Smith has this guy, and then the quarterback's responsible for this guy. That's a sight adjustment. It's a check with me when he looks at the receiver, okay, we got this. When I watched Tech play under the last few years of Fuente and especially under Pry, regards to the O-line coach switch, our O-line blitz pickup was horrendous. And I'm like, that's a basic, when you got both backers blitz the gaps, that's a basic pickup. Anyone that's played offensive lineman from JV all the way up to varsity knows, inside out, MDM, most dangerous man, the closest one to the quarterback. So if the center's got the nose, I got the inside gap next to him. I wash the backer down. The left tackle, because I played on the left side, washes this guy down. The running back picks the other weak side, outside linebacker or corner coming off the edge, whoever it is. And the quarterback is going to have man coverage on this side or even this side. And that's the kind of stuff Tech was struggling with. I didn't mean to get deep. I didn't mean to get deep on your show, Rick. No. But I had to pull out. I had to pull it out because basically when people say, oh, well, he doesn't have the guys to work with, and that's because in the Vanderbilt game, the one guy went that one offensive lineman should not ruin your group. We are a cohesive unit, but at the same time, you should be coached. I was thrown into the Orange Bowl against Nebraska as a redshirt sophomore. I was thrown. I played a lot that year. But Gennaro DiNapoli was having some bad cramps, and I got in, and I'm going against Nebraska. They're the 2-time defending national champions in the third quarter. I knew what to do. First play of the third quarter, they did a blitz. I picked it up. I mean, because I was coached to do it.
Yeah,
it wasn't even like I had to think. I knew exactly what they were going to do. They did a TE, and then the backer came. I picked up the mic. It was easy. That's why the center, before every snap, when he's sitting like this and they're in their 2-point stance, because no one gets down, it feels like. And he goes like this.
Yeah,
they're doing to the mic. He's pointing to the mic, and him and the quarterback. That means the entire line knows we're going to slide left because he's going to say Mike's left Liz or Larry, Lucy. Then the quarterback comes up and he checks alignment. He looks. This is stuff that Tech would do, but not consistently enough. And then you were like, sack. And then the fans say, why did you call that play? I'm like, you fans don't understand. No, that was actually a good play. The O-line wet the bed.
Play was fine, just they didn't coach
it. You know how many times I've said that on Twitter? I just stopped doing it because I think fans just get frustrated and want to argue. And I love my followers, but I'm like, you don't know the game like I do, respectfully. Many times the play was called. Many times the right play was called. The execution was horrendous. Step in with the right foot. Play side foot. You should know. We call a bad step a false step. That means if your step isn't going in the right direction, it's a false step. You don't know what you're doing. And then that will throw the whole play off, right? So again, man, these things, I don't get it twisted. We were at West Virginia my redshirt junior year. They blew us out in the second half. We lost the game. Amos Airway went crazy. Mark Bulger was on fire. I gave up, I think it was a sack. Me and Todd Washington, we got confused, and we didn't get the protection right. And they got Al Clark. They sacked him, or they forced him into a bad throw on third down. So it happens, but that didn't happen a lot.
Do you look for that? Because all NFL offensive lines do what you're saying: the communication, the center, the guard. Is that something you look for in a college game? Because the ones who do that same thing, they're being taught the right thing instead of just kind of.
Yeah. I got into arguments with my guys, on Boundary Corner. Those are my brothers, with Chris and those guys. And I got into arguments with fans on Twitter because they were and it's just human nature. And I'm not saying they don't know the game, because those are my guys. They would be so fixated on Drones. Drones is trash. He's this. I'm like, do you see the bad protection going on? The fact that ODU came into Lane Stadium, a defensive line, and they had some guys that were good. Don't get me wrong. They had a kid named Trinidad, named Chris, who was an NFL prospect for ODU. My daughter is friends with him. I know a lot of the ODU players. And ODU had some talent. But what I saw was the fact that in the first quarter, Tech's O-line could not handle them. Go back and look it up. They got the condensed game on YouTube. Anybody that's a nerd, a football nerd like me, go and watch. You don't have to watch it long. You can see, Drones, this is what I got. Drones is holding the ball too long. First of all, from the OC perspective, Drones, I said this from jump on your show and other times, Drones was not a pro pocket passer. He's an RPO guy.
Yeah.
And they were doing a lot of pocket passing, pro style offense. Secondly, when you talk about holding the ball too long, again, not to keep going back to the good old days, but when you look at guys like Jim Druckenmiller, Maurice Shiseizo, who was mobile, you look at even guys like Grant Knoll, they had a pocket to throw in.
Yep.
It's okay at times if it's 3rd and 6. Sometimes you're going to need a little bit more time, and the quarterback will come and hold, hey guys, hold him out. I need a little time on this one. Ready? And you call the play. He didn't have time a lot of times. And then, of course, I'm not giving him credit because I'm not defending him, because there were some throws and sometimes he wasn't his best. But what I'm saying is the offensive line and the quarterback and running backs, that pocket, everything has to be on one accord. So to answer your question, yes, Rick, when I watch some of the more successful programs, a lot was talked about how Miami really, really did well last year. Well, yes, they had great skill players, but their offensive linemen were amazing. They were physical. I forgot the dude's name, but their left and right tackles, they were humongous, but they were also able to move the pocket and also have good sets. And that's what you want, man. That's what you need if you want to be an efficient offense. And I think this year moving forward with Tech's personnel, with the tight ends they have and the running backs, you'll be able to do some things under center. You'll be able to do more play action. And I think this is based off what we're seeing and hearing so far, I think you'll be able to see a more friendlier offense that's conducive to the personnel versus trying to force it on somebody. Like I have, before anybody said it, I'm taking credit on this one. I have been crying on Twitter and on your show for Virginia Tech to use the tight ends for years.
Yes, you
have. Haven't. I've been saying it. You go back to Jeff King. How clutch was Jeff King, Bob Sawakowski, Browning Wynn? Tight ends, I'm not going to say always, but a lot of times they're open. Rarely last year, whether it was Monty or prior to Monty, a lot of times Tech did not attack the middle of the field with the tight end. Every now and then in the red zone, we have a tight end catch the ball. You look at back when we had Greg Boone, a guy that was the quarterback at Oscar Smith, how they used him in the Wild Turkey on the goal line, and Tyrod and him had a great relationship. The tight end has got to be there. You got to use your tight ends. And the fact that Franklin understands that tight ends are a matchup nightmare if they know how to run routes and they can catch the ball. And if they can block, oh my gosh.
No, you got it. I mean, yeah.
Yeah. So
now we're talking offense.
Yeah, but I mean, what we're also talking about is a OC, a quarterback, and an offense that has a philosophy and a vision for what they want to do with their personnel. I felt over the last handful of years, Virginia Tech, after Gerard Evans left, we had Josh Jackson, a few other quality quarterbacks, but we really never got into a groove offensively. I didn't really know what kind of offense we were. So cheers to seeing us get back on track offensively.
I'm glad you brought up the name Grant Knoll. Grant Knoll is one of my all-time favorite players because right? He was there. That guy didn't have all the greatest physical ability in the world, but boy, whenever you talk to him, he had it. He had the right mind. He was a football player, wasn't he? I think Grant Knoll was underappreciated by a lot of folks, but that guy did whatever he was asked to do as best of his ability, man. And he never cheated the game, right?
Yeah, he's out of West Virginia. Grant, I know Grant. I was on a team with him when I was on my way out. He was redshirted. Yeah. Well. He can't, he's not appreciated enough because he came after Mike Vick and he was before Brian Randall.
Correct.
So yeah, Mike declares for the draft, and then Grant Knoll and Randall kind of battle. They anoint Grant Knoll, and Randall's waiting in the wings. And he took Florida State. He took Virginia Tech to the Gator Bowl where they played against Florida State. Right. And I remember the soundbite because Bobby, the great coach, I cannot remember his name. What's the head coach at FSU? Bobby Bowden's mic'd up, and he says, "Hey, is this kid somebody we can just let pass?" Because Grant Knoll was lighting them up. Andre Davis, they were catching passes and touchdowns, and then Florida State that started applying pressure because Grant Knoll wasn't really that mobile. But I think when you replace a legend, this has been said a lot of times, when you replace a legend like Mike and you come in where prior to Mike, you had, all these records and amazing games, and you're a true pocket passer and a very good quarterback and you're tough, fans aren't going to be as welcoming. But Grant Knoll had some great moments in Lane Stadium, and he had some great games. I think he was the quarterback that year when Virginia Tech was hosting Miami, the year Miami won it, when they had Shockley and those guys. And Ernest Wilford unfortunately dropped the 2-point conversion try. If he could have pulled that off, I think that would have elevated him more. Like, for example, Tech fans, I love the kid. I interviewed him at Media Day. Who was the quarterback that got his I don't know why I can't remember this one. He dislocated his shoulder, but he led Virginia Tech to a win at Ohio State. They love him all the time. The quarterback that started for Virginia Tech.
Is that Brewer?
Yeah, Michael Brewer. Michael Brewer, for some reason, a lot of Tech fans hold him here. When the years he was there, he was hot and cold. They were 7-6. They were 7-6, 6-6. But that one win over Ohio State,
that's right,
on the road in the shoe, elevated his legacy. And that's just the way. This is why I hope these kids at Tech really start winning, because if we had trivia, me and Mike Vick, my cousin, used to have Hokie Trivia on our podcast. And a lot of times the trivia was fun because it got fans involved to think about some of the better legends. And those games and memories aren't just stats. They were based on legendary moments or great wins on the road or in Lane Stadium, right? In the last 6 years, other than the player that might gotten drafted or made to the league, tell me some great moments in Tech history the last 6 years. Tell me a player that you like,
crickets.
Oh my God.
Crickets.
Crickets. Because do not tell me that win at NC State was a legendary win. I was excited they won because that was a big win. I thought they were going to play for Monty, but then they followed it up with a bad loss. Like,
right.
But that's why Brewer's elevated, because that kid could throw the ball. He had toughness, and he beat Ohio State at Ohio State with Bucky Hodges and Deion Newsom and Sam Rogers and Marshawn Williams and running back and the McKenzie running back. Like, that was just a great night for Tech football. The defense was great. Fuller's played great. And, when you win that game, and then Ohio State went on to win the national championship with Ezekiel Elliott and company, you're cemented as a quarterback people will remember. But, when you go and you lose to Maryland in the Pinstripe Bowl and you're playing with guys that should be at the Lego store, no one's going to remember. I can't even name anybody on that team. I remember the regular season players, but that bowl game was embarrassing, right?
Yeah.
This is what I mean about legacy. one thing that won't change with the NIL and the portal is legacy. You do not. I can't, because even right now, you're going to have guests on your show. You know, Will Stewart, David Till, Andy, myself, and other great guys. You need us on your show, especially David and those guys, because right now, respectfully, other than a few guys that came in that were highly touted or they returned, we don't know these kids.
Right.
Because they haven't done anything.
They haven't done anything. That's right.
And that's what winning does. You can go back and have somebody on your show that won a conference or a regional district or state championship from the 80s. And people would jump on, I remember that game, they were on the road. And you get, because you know why? Those were memories and those were legacy defining moments. And I think if there's anything I want Tech to do to restore our legacy and get us back to relevancy, is having more memories and cementing moments where those kids understand, wow, this feels good, you know, to be winning, but not only winning, but to be respected. Right now, Virginia Tech football is not respected. And I love how Franklin realizes that. And he said on that little YouTube show he's had many times, I was around when Virginia Tech was really, really good. And the Lane Stadium was a house of horrors. I've been watching, you know, you asked about movies. I've also been watching a ton of old Tech games. And the first thing that comes to mind is like, damn, we fell off. We fell off bad. You know, it's just like when I watch old Redskins games. And I grew up a Redskins fan. I remember the posse with Gary Clark, Ricky Sanders, and Art Monk. And I'm like, man, I used to be, win or lose, I had this pride about that team, and it was so fun to watch, you know, and the tight ends and the shifts and the motions and Ernest Biner and Ricky Irvin and all those great offenses they had, Mark Rippon. And, you know, it was just great to see them play Joe Theismann before he broke his leg. It was just really cool. You know, even crazy Jay Schrader. I see how I named all those guys because they all won.
They all won.
And then after that, like Tech, every year, Jason Campbell, Trent Green, Pete Schuler.
Right.
And then, you know, you become a doormat where your only claim to fame is trying to upset the Cowboys because you're living off a rivalry that no longer exists. The Washington Redskins, Commanders, and Dallas Cowboys rivalry is not a rivalry. Both teams have underachieved. Both teams have underachieved mightily. I know the Cowboys have been much better successfully wise and won the division. But as far as what their legacy say, neither one of those programs have done anything worth talking about.
That's right.
That's right. And that's what I'm talking about with Tech. So the fact that ODU is a questionable game shows you how far we've fallen off.
No, 100%. And, you know, and before we go, Tony Elliott said the same thing. He goes, well, one of my jobs here is to make Virginia Tech, Virginia a rivalry again. He said, it's not a rivalry now because this program is not competitive. I thought he got that early on. I remember him saying that early on when he got started at UVA. So he's thought about that. Just said about the rest.
And to his point, even last year when they did what I call the silent protest game, when Monty and those guys did nothing, nothing. UVA, they didn't celebrate that win because you wanted to beat Tech. They celebrated because they were going to the ACC championship and they beat us. But what are you bragging about? That was a bad, very, very, very bad Tech team.
Yep.
You know, we talk about legacy, Rick. You remember the Tech wins over UVA when UVA was good or like very competitive, right? You remember that. You remember even that team that went down there with David Wilson and Logan Thomas when they shut out UVA and won 38-0. That was a solid. That was a good UVA team. Tech had to win that game to get into the ACC, or that really big one when both Tech and UVA were ranked. And they had Howie Longson on defense at UVA, and Tyrod was the quarterback. And Tech went down there and won the game. Him and Sean Glennon were rotating quarterbacks. You remember that because UVA was a damn good team that year, and that's what you want. You don't want to just, I'm not afraid of competition, but I don't play no more. I just run my mouth and get paid for it. So
that's right. That's right. Exactly right.
But anyway, man,
Right.
I appreciate you letting me get on here this morning.
Oh, great stuff. Great stuff as always, man. We won't be popping tonight because I've got a broadcast to do, but maybe we'll redo it this weekend. We'll see. I'll let you know.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Okay. Yep. Thank you, brother.
All right, brother. Have a great weekend, man. Great stuff as always.
You too.
All right, there you go. The great Dwight Vick joining us on the program. Great stuff today. Thanks to David Smith. Speaking of great stuff, Andy Bitter, Jonathan Sweet, Dwight Vick. Hope everybody has a great rest of your Thursday. No pop tonight. I'll be at Cup Stadium at Radford, and we'll see you tomorrow on the Finally Friday edition. Coach Elmo will join us, Mike Ashley, Open Mike, and, of course, Jen the Gamecock Girl. Thanks to our sponsors. Remember, please subscribe, like, and share if you don't already. We'll see you